Welcome back to the Comics Aficionados here on Think Critical YouTube. Your Saturday morning delight is back. We are down one Aaron Sparrow as he is at San Diego Comic-Con. We'll probably have a few stories for us next week, but we've got a fantastic panel, and obviously I'm returning this week. I do want to say thank you very much to all the condolences and kind words from last week. Really meant a whole lot to me, and definitely thanks to all the people who stepped up and did the show without me. And it's been a weird week, Dylan. You finally got the news you've been waiting for. You've been wanting this Jonah Hex book. It's not Dennis Camp, so that's an enormous plus. You got Michael Walsh on art, so that's a really big plus. But he's also writing, and he's kind of a ho hum writer. But hey, it's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to do it. They're saying it's a retired Jonah Hex, and he's getting pulled into a world of the supernatural. So we'll see. Not the first time we've done some more supernatural stuff with Jonah Hex, but it'll be interesting. The preview pages look good, so hopefully
it's going to look good. Yeah. Did you ever read any of his like Universal Monsters stuff that he was doing for Image?
Have not read anything Michael Walsh has done.
I think he did the Frankenstein one. If I remember correctly, Sully loved that book, didn't you, Sully?
It wasn't me. You can't blame me.
Was it you?
You pinned that on. I think it could have been Jimbo.
Maybe it was Drew that liked that book so much, but I thought the art was fantastic. It wasn't maybe the Frankenstein story for me, but hopefully he gets it. But other than that, Dylan, the next level like announcements, not very good.
No, we didn't really get much that was very interesting. We got the Denise Camp book. We got Static Shock got a book. We got Vixen. Not a whole lot of, but also this little, remember there was that boycott for DC not being black enough that lasted like 72 hours. And now when those same people don't buy these books and they get canceled, they only have themselves to blame. So
you don't think they're going to start a boycott?
I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think so.
Everybody support Cody Ziegler and Static.
You mean broke communists aren't gonna support a book that they clamor for and agitate for on the internet? No.
I'm just thinking that was a huge psyop now. That was like proactive like marketing. You put that up. These books were greenlit like 6 months ago. And when did that hashtag take shape? What, like 2 months ago? I think this is all brilliant psyops. Dude, conspiracies. Get me some tinfoil for my head immediately.
Well, just before they did the hashtag thing, Scott Snyder was in an interview and they said, "Don't you think there should be more, black-led DC solo books?" And he said specifically, "There's going to be more. They just haven't released yet. Like they're already in the pipeline." So, he'd already kind of quashed that. We also got news, Dylan. There will be no Hush 3.
No.
Oh man, that's devastating. No Hush 3.
Do you ever think we get the second half of Hush 2?
Yeah, I don't know.
You need the second half of Hush 2.
I don't know if like Jim Lee feels like he has something to prove and he's like, we're gonna do it. Like that's the only way I feel like that happens. If Jim Lee feels like he has something to prove.
Well, he said it is like Jim Lee and Friends panel that Hush 2 is going to be very important to the future of Batman. I was like, I don't know about that, dude.
At this point, I don't think so. I don't think that's going to happen.
That's one's written by Jeff Loeb, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is that one good at all? Or
Hush 2 is really bad.
Yeah.
The art's kind of good.
It's kind of good.
Look, it's not terrible. It's just kind of pointless. It's just doing Hush again, but everybody swapped in their roles.
And it's also throwing in Batman 3 Jokers and Jason's trauma about Joker once again, which is the only story they ever tell about him, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have Per Berg joining us, formerly known as Narwhal. You're pushing away the Narwhal persona and just going with Per?
Yeah, and I guess some people say Per Berg, or I did a big banner when I did Heroes Con last year, and it says Per, aka Narwhal. But I typed it out and people like Peraka Narwhal. What the hell is that? And so it's been a disaster just trying
Sound
to
like a
rebrand.
Norwegian footballer.
Yeah. That one, I had the worst banner in the entire convention because Phil printed it for me. Zaid Comics, they have a giant printer, so I sent him the file And he's like, "Do you sure you want this to print?" He's like, "You should put Vatican City art on it or something." I was like, "No, do this." But I wanted the font to be wider, so I duplicated it and dragged it over 3 times. So it looks like you have double vision when you look at the name, because it printed so big you could see it. And I didn't see it on the tiny screen, so it ended up being just a complete terrible, terrible banner in a way that I like to think was endearing, but maybe not.
Hey, you got to pretend like you meant to do that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. It's trippy, isn't it?
There
I
was
like
one
that.
other guy there that had a banner that just said like banner or something like that. So he was like leaning into like a bad banner kind of thing. So he and I were hanging out.
Very nice. So you got a big project coming up on the Kickstarter?
Yeah, right now there's a mailing list. I'm trying to do it old school, just build the mailing list up because I have my own mailing list. But if you get the mailing list on the Kickstarter, that's like little extra vibes that helps kind of thing. And yeah, this one is it's kind of an experimental format. It's 8 mini comics, which are like zines. They print on 8.5 by 11 paper, and it can be read in any order. So if you picture like the level select screen of Mega Man, that's kind of what it's like. Like you just look at 8 mini comics, you grab one, read it. When you read all 8, you've got the full story. There's 40,000. It's 8 factorial for math nerds. So there's 40,000 permutations of the order that you can get the story in, but it's all the same story. It's a Italian Western story. And the reason I wanted to do this too is like, it does have to be a specific kind of story to kind of make it work. If it's like, you kind of could do anything, it still might be fun, but it needs to be like, kind of a little bit modular, and it needs to be what I kind of did was like, I call it the betray the betrayer chain. So it's kind of a story where this guy's on a mission, he gets betrayed. The guy who betrays him gets betrayed. The guy who betrays him gets betrayed. The guy who betrays him, and it kind of goes in a circle. So you can kind of read the whole thing. So it's going to be fun. It took a year to figure out. It's only a 10-page script, but it took me a year to write it because I had to think of like a way for that to actually happen, kind of thing. And I'm doing it all traditional. It's actually anthropomorphic animals, so it's different than Vatican City, and it's small. It's like going to be mini comics are kind of tiny, so it's very out there a little bit. I couldn't publish it for reals even if I wanted to through like a publisher. But one of the best things about it is I was telling you guys behind the scenes, free shipping, and there's even like a Star Trek replicator kind of thing where because it prints on 8.5 by 11 paper, people who have a printer, I can just send them the print file. They print it themselves. They get the physical copy. It's exactly the same as if I did it and mailed it to them. And that's going to be really cheap, free shipping. I think that tier is going to be $3 maybe. So like $3 free shipping, instant fulfillment to anywhere in the world. So not only just domestic or whatever. So I'm hoping to bring in new readers on this one. The last one I did, it was my mailing list. I have like 300 or so dedicated readers that I appreciate and really, love these guys. Sully's one of them.
Darn tootin'.
Yeah. And, but yeah, like this is an opportunity for that one. I was like, ooh, like there was almost no new readers, which is interesting data. Like it's awesome you're retaining, but it's also like, let's put out a product that can hopefully grow it a little bit. So that is part of the pitch on this one too. Is a call for new readers. I want new readers. If you haven't read any of my stuff, this is a good chance, especially for that. If you got a printer, just get the $3 one, or I think the one where I print it and mail it to you, which is still free shipping because it's easy. That's going to be like $11. And then there's one where, because the mini comics take assembly too, so then I can actually assemble it for you too. I'm going to do like 100 of those. But I recommend people just assemble it themselves because that's like part of the fun. It takes like 1 minute, But.
Very nice. Did you hear him, Dylan? He said spaghetti western. Isn't that like your favorite version of westerns?
Yeah, it's up there.
Man,
they're like
westerns this week.
They're like a little more romanticized, I guess. They can be a little more like kind of weird and
like a little bit like Blueberry. You think like the Mobius kind of flair. You know what I mean? But in your distinct style. I love those westerns. Those are great books.
Yeah.
There's a cool scene. I think it's one of the Sergio Leone trilogy, I think, but it's where they're like showing each other up by shooting each other's hats off at further and further distance away. And, obviously that would never happen in real life. It's almost like superhero kind of thing, but it's super awesome. So yeah, that kind of thing.
Very good. Renie, you made it. How are
What's
you
up,
doing?
Renie?
I made it. Hello. What's up?
Hello.
Uh-oh.
How are you all? Wasn't expecting Pear to be here. Hello.
Is it
Hello.
okay? Do you
Your
want me to boot
tone,
him?
your tone is like you want me to leave.
Oh no.
How dare you?
Interloper.
Interloper.
Me and Renie do a show together
man,
on
we-
Thursdays, everyone. I don't know if you guys know
Nice.
that.
Yeah, we do
Yeah.
a show together. So we were just streaming the other day. You guys should check it out.
So you're in Taiwan right now. Did you get the typhoon that passed us up? It looked like it went north towards you.
It went right past. We've had 2 typhoons since I've been here, and one just skirted the north, one skirted the south. So it's like all the typhoons this season have been teasing us. There probably will eventually be a really bad direct hit. I'm looking forward to it. Fun times.
Oh yeah, we get
But
3 or
yes,
4
I'm
of
in
them a year
Taiwan.
that hits us.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's lots of fun.
Yeah. They always kind of, freak out a bit, and then it's like, oh no, it didn't even land.
So how long are you going to be in the Asias?
Quite a while. I am probably more or less gonna be based here now.
So you move.
It's for family.
Very nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'll effectively still be, I'm still gonna do conventions in the States, but it's for family. Like, there are old people that need my help and stuff. So yeah, I'll probably be mostly in Taiwan from now on.
That is
Cool.
one of the things about living in Asia that is much different than the West is the idea, the concept of putting your parents or your grandparents like in a old folks home or something like that is
Right.
absolutely
Anathema.
not
Oh, yeah.
approved here. Like you move your parents in with you, you take care of them.
Yeah, it's seen as very insulting. And it's like, you can get like the care, like long-term care and stuff, but the thing is, I would just move my parents with me to the States, but it's also a bunch of things make that really difficult, so it was just easier for me to move here.
Well, I'm glad.
So,
You
yeah.
got to take care of your stuff, and I'm sure Taiwan is a lovely place. I haven't made it there myself yet.
Oh, it's great. I do miss America, though. I love America. I feel like I fit in culturally more, but I am saving money being in Taiwan, so that's really great. I like saving
Nice.
money.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll miss
Are
the
you
States.
renting your house in the States or did you sell it?
It's rented.
Nice.
Well, very
Yeah.
good.
I'm keeping it.
So you had your art book up there on for a campaign and everything. How did all that go? Did you end up making like lots of money?
Oh, it went great. So because I have an active Kickstarter, that's Fiendish 3 is still live on Kickstarter. They don't let you run simultaneous campaigns on Kickstarter unless you're like super proven and trusted. So I couldn't launch the art book on Kickstarter yet. I do plan to in the future. But so that's why my art book Incurvate was launched on Fund My Comic. And I think it did really well for being on a smaller platform. It's a good platform. It's just a smaller and newer platform. But yeah, thank you to everybody who backed that. We are, I'm tying up some loose ends, but we should be shipping out the hardcovers. I'm gonna prod RJ a bit. But the book's already printed. It was a very fast turnaround, so it's ready to go.
Well, congratulations. That's awesome.
Ah! Yes, very excited. Yeah, I've been planning on doing an art book. It's a sexy fantasy ladies art book, so anybody who who likes that, who might be interested in that, it's 72 or 74 pages. It's a hefty book, lots of pinups and fan art. So yeah, I've been planning it for a while, so if that sounds good to you, you can actually still get it on my Fiendish store. I put it on my on a store, so just you can check
I
it out
ordered
there.
I ordered the hardcover, and it's going on my coffee table next to my Milo Manara. Guarantee you.
Well, thank
Nice.
you.
Sexy
Thank
ladies
Those
you
will
for
go
your
well
support.
together.
Yeah.
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 Renie had one of the art pieces. I think it's from that book. It went kind of viral on X with like what was it, like 5,000 likes or something or 3,000 likes, and it's demon boobies though is what does it. That's what gets people going.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
why not?
demon boobies. It's fantasy, sexy fantasy ladies, but a lot of demon girls as well. Yeah, it's the Berserk. I did a Venomized Berserk piece that recently I reposted it. And sometimes sometimes you post art for the first time and nobody cares. Then you repost it and just the stars align, you get like 2,000 likes. But yeah, so the demon boobies always do well. So if you're a fan of
Nice.
that, check out
And
Incriminate.
Renie invented something too. I don't know if we have a name for it yet, but it's where the panels and the gutters of a comic, if a woman's boobs come over the gutter into the next panel, that's something.
I
that's something Renie's
appreciate the promotion. Yeah, this is great. This is why Pear is a good co-host. I call it the boob over. I have a page. I can pull it up in a second that I'm working on now. But yeah, patented. It's patented.
So it's kind of like an X over, but with boobs instead of X-Men.
Yeah.
What's an X over?
This is what all
Am
the
I being
X-Men
really ignorant?
books all tell like one story. They start crossing over into each other.
Well, that would be
Yeah,
like
it
if
was
two of Renie's
90s.
female characters swap one boob each. That would be a boob
Ooh.
over in that way.
One
Yeah, that's
boob
what it is.
each, yes.
You know what? I
Did it-
talked to someone at the
different size beaker.
speaking of boobs, you guys, real fast. I talked to someone at the World Cup. I was watching it at a bar, and the guy's like, "I just got knee implants. I feel young again." He's like, "It's so amazing. They injected this stuff in my knee." He's like, "You know what? It's the exact stuff that they use for fake boobs." So he's like, "So I got fake boobs in my knees, and it's absolutely amazing. I feel young again." I was like, "Man, I need some fake boobs in
I
my
And
did
knees."
then
not-
like you were eyeballing his knees and be like,
Come on.
oh yeah, those
Yeah.
totally aren't real. They look so good.
Yeah,
I
you walk
did
in the
not know
doctor,
that
you're like,
was
"Doc,
the same thing.
Doc, I need these
Yeah.
down
Yeah.
here." I need these.
Yeah.
And
Eyes
then
Wow.
and then you put a dollar in his sock.
Yeah, he was
No!
wearing knee pads. I just slip it in the knee pad.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It was that kind of bar.
Yeah.
So Renie, have you found your comic book shop yet?
No, I haven't been to, I've been to Taipei like once. So the thing is, Taiwan is like Japan and Hong Kong had a baby. So there's tons of manga stuff. There are doujin cons. You can find anything manga and anime here. There's an anime, there's a comic Toranuana, which are all chains from Japan. I don't think we have a Mandarake yet, but yeah, great for manga. Can't find any American comics. There's one shop in Ximending in Taipei that has some American comics, but it's like 3 months behind. They said if I want something, I can have them order it, but I'm like, I can also just have like my friends in America ship them to me, and it would be faster probably.
Because
Yeah,
there's no
it's
real
hard. It's
distribution
hard. It's not a
system
lot of,
for Asia. The way that my
No.
shop here in the Philippines does it is
No.
they have a person that just flies with all of their boxes of comic books every month, or I'm sorry, every week, and like that's the way they get them there. They pay for
Oh my
the extra
God.
baggage and stuff.
So it's like a courier service for comics.
Yes, so that's the only way
Maybe
that they
that
could
should
keep
be
like
my-
current.
Yeah, maybe that should be my backup job.
Yeah.
If all else
Be a
fails, I don't
comic
really need money,
courier.
I'll start flying comics to Taiwan. In Japan, I found American comic shops, but I think just because comics permeate the culture so much, there were shops with like relatively recent American comics, but yeah, not in Taiwan. It's different.
Well, that's because they don't
It's a
even
pity.
buy them in America anymore.
So I guess Doc, you can't move to Taiwan.
Well, yeah, there's also that.
I'll make sure that's not on my list.
Why
You
not?
have to go somewhere more comic friendly.
Yeah.
It's I mean it's well, there's a lot of manga. You can start getting into manga. There's the boob over I was talking about.
All
Oh,
right.
nice.
There's Ragna, my sexy magic girl. She's a very popular character. I wonder why.
So
This is
so
a
you
double
can
page
use
spread
the
that I just finished.
so you could use the margins or the gutters as
Sorry, you're breaking.
as a shelf bra.
Yeah, that's what it's for. Yeah, you know that little pic of Ragna there. I want that to replace Clippy on my Windows 95. Just have her pop up and be like, "You look like you're trying to make a document."
If Clippy
Yeah.
had boobs, nobody would have hated him.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Like
Another paper
Renie
just
might be
finished.
frozen.
Da-na-na.
Oh, there she's back. Very nice.
No.
Oh
Sorry,
yeah,
my
you're
internet
you're
might be
Getting
a
that
bit-
Taiwan
you're
internet
lagging.
rating.
There's
Yeah,
another
the video
page I
might
just
be giving you
finished.
lag.
Fuck! I'm actually plugged into the Ethernet cable too. Okay.
Oh, you're like
Hmm.
not even using the wireless. Very nice. Perhaps it's
still,
the video.
Yeah,
That's,
yeah. Well,
yeah.
I'm on the 3rd floor of a really old house.
Mhm.
I'll probably keep my video off then.
But I love the happy
I
little
apologize.
trees. I
There's
love the happy
definitely
trees.
some Bob Ross-esque happy
Mhm.
trees
Mhm.
in the art there.
Especially the
Yeah, a lot
boobs.
of
They give me
trees.
happy
Drawing
trees. Those
this
are
comic has been a journey. Those are the best trees. The boobs. Boob trees.
yes, the happiest
Boob
trees.
trees.
So, Dylan, did you get to talk about watching the Odyssey last week on the Aficionados? I wasn't here for. I didn't get to see the beginning.
No, I didn't talk about it.
So you got to go see the Odyssey. Obviously, there was a lot of controversy and stuff around that. You were very optimistic that because it was Nolan, it was going to be pretty badass. How did the Odyssey turn out for you?
It was okay. It was- yeah.
Okay.
I was hoping it was going to be really
Oh,
good,
here we go.
and it was not. But it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen either. It was just Nolan's not meant for like a mythological epic. It turns out that's just not his lane at all.
Was
I
that?
agree.
Is it like what he did
He's
with
a
Batman,
sci-fi
where he
guy.
grounded everything?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
tried to ground everything, and it didn't. Even though you have these like visually the movie looks really good. He used the IMAX cameras for everything. It's the first movie ever shot 100% in IMAX, so like it looks grandiose for the most part. But then he tries to ground everything, and it just doesn't work for this type of movie. And
Yeah, when you
he
try to explain the gods and stuff.
and he treated the Odyssey like a comic book, the same way, you know, any director, when they get their hands on a comic book and they're like, all right, time to adapt this. And by adapt it, I mean, there will be characters with
Change
the same
everything?
name. Yeah. It's like there will be characters with the same names, and there will be a couple of story elements that are the same. For the most part, I am changing literally everything to whatever I want. It's like, I feel like that doesn't work for the Odyssey.
Yeah, I largely agree with that assessment. It wasn't the worst thing ever, but it basically wasn't the Odyssey anymore, and I wanted to watch the Odyssey. So
Yeah.
that's the source of my
Mhm.
disappointment. Yeah, it just wasn't. I mean, I'm a bit of a purist with like, yeah, I know it's historical fantasy, but I
Uh-huh.
still want to see an Odyssey that has Mycenaean armor and like
Mhm.
all the weird clothes from that time.
Yeah.
But I understand if they don't do that. But like I know there was a bunch of controversy around the casting and stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's even though I agree with a lot of the criticisms there, I think that's not really the biggest problem. The biggest problem
Yeah.
is the characters and the messages were changed.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Odysseus, his goals and his personality isn't Odysseus anymore. So yeah,
He's a Nolan.
I'm pretty bummed
He
about
became
that.
a Nolan hero. Someone that's broken, that's someone that needs healing, someone that needs to deal with his guilt. And even the feminist translator, Emily Wilson, said this is completely out of character for Odysseus. He had no shame, no guilt. He was a sacker of cities. He enjoyed his job. You know.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, and
do it.
part of the problem with that, because if he wanted to change Odysseus into that, you could make it work, but a big problem with it is Odysseus is that the entire time. You never get to see who Odysseus is before he's this like PTSD riddled like sad sack. Like he's just that the entire movie, which I felt bad for Matt Damon in that way, because I think Matt Damon's a really good actor and I like what he did in Nolan's previous movies. and I was excited to see what he'd do as Odysseus, and he doesn't get to do anything in this movie. It's like, oh, that's upsetting. I would have liked to seen what Matt Damon could have done at actually playing Odysseus.
Yeah.
So they took the character from Interstellar and they spread it out for 3 hours instead of just
not Interstellar. He makes him more like Oppenheimer. Post-bomb Oppenheimer is how he is. Because at least in Oppenheimer, you see how the guy is before he gets wrecked with guilt from what he did. And this is like, what if he's like that from the start? Like that's how he is the entire movie.
You know something else? Oppenheimer has a scene where they take the piss a little bit when he meets like the president at the time. And the president's like, Oppenheimer's so like, oh, I have such a weight. I have such a weight. And the guy's like, get out of here. You're super. And that's like funny. And that
Truman
is not
shoot him
in the
off?
Odyssey.
Yes. Yeah. Gary Oldman plays him and he's like, he's like, fuck you. I was the one who did this. No one cares about you. He's like, I'm the one that did this.
Yeah,
it was great.
They needed that in the Odyssey. I loved it, but I can still see everyone's critiques. I still kind of agree, but I just loved it. But Sully, did you see it? Or I know you're reading the translations.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet. I'm actually going to reread the two of the translations. I'm reading the Fitzgerald and the Emily Wilson one, which is not that bad. But also there's like the thing I noticed was there's no love of like gear porn. Like, in the Fitzgerald, he's like, oh, and this weapon was highly detailed, and she just glosses over that stuff because only boys like that kind of shit,
Oh, that's funny.
It is that's pretty funny. But I love Nolan's movies usually. But I get mixed feelings on Inception. I get mixed feelings on Interstellar. But I can't take away anything that they're great movies. I love The Prestige. That's my favorite Nolan movie. That thing's awesome. And I love the Batman movies. But
The Prestige is so good.
The Prestige is so good. What a good twist at that end. But I'm looking forward to checking it out. I'm very forgiving when it comes to adaptations. This is the Glee theater camp version. This is all the stunt casting. I mean, there is outright things that I already been spoiled that I disagree with. Like, you swapped out Achilles for, Sinon, who's not even in the. That's an Aeneid character. I mean, meeting Achilles was very important to Odysseus because Achilles had a choice. He was like, you could have a long life and no one will remember you, or this short life. And Achilles has regret. And he says to Odysseus, I chose wrong. I should have chosen a long life. And that's really interesting. And at the end, how it's Penelope who kills the slave girl who sided with the suitors. And there's only one of them. And in the books, there's 12 of them, and they all die horribly, and because they sided with the suitors. And I was wondering, how is this feminist translation going to tackle that happens in the book? The 12 slave girls get strung up by Telemachus because they sided with the suitors, and he made them clean up the gore and the blood before they killed them. It's like, how? Ooh, what a How are they going to do that in the movie? They don't.
Yeah. And I do. Yeah. I agree that adaptations, it's actually kind of fun, especially the Odyssey. It's fun to see different versions. So I actually will give leeway to a lot of that stuff. That's why it doesn't bother me quite as much, because I do like that story enough to just, I'm like, give it to me all. I watched the 1997 one with Armand Assante, miniseries. That one too is kind of a lot more close, and that one's a lot of fun. And then there's weird pros and cons. Like the underworld scene in Nolan's is really close to except he doesn't see Achilles, but they go in the sand, put a shield, they pour blood in it, and then the dead come. That's exactly from the poem, and that scene's really cool in Nolan's version. They shot it in Iceland in Twilight, winter Twilight, where they have darkness 23 hours of the day. An IMAX camera can pick up the light without it all being black. So it just looks really weird. It looks really cool.
Very nice. Do you see Nolan Dillon said that he was because of that scene specifically, he's itching to do a horror
really
movie.
Good.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What are you saying, Renie?
No, it's okay. I have a lot of lag. I apologize.
Yeah, I think there might be 3 seconds.
I was just saying that the camera
4.
work was all really good. It looked high quality. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Well, I'll try to fix it. If I talk over anyone, I'm sorry. Guys, the internet in Taiwan is not bad. I'm just in like a really old house.
It's the
I got
wood.
one of those
Yeah, it's the carpenter
signal
ants.
amplifiers.
Yeah.
So we
But
had to
Dylan,
do.
you were going to talk about maybe Nolan doing a horror movie. That was.
This is pretty exciting, right?
Yeah, especially that the scene with Cersei is what really made me think of that he would get more interested in horror. And yeah, he talked about potentially doing that if he finds something that's interesting to him. And I think he could definitely do something cool with horror. I'd be interested to see what Nolan could do there, because that'd be way outside anything he's ever done before. But I think it's something that he could handle, as long as, again, he's not going for something very fantastical. I think he could do a cool horror movie.
Because we very rarely get like big prestige kind of directors actually tackling horror. Mostly it's kind of no-name guys or whatever. Every once in a while you get an Exorcist or something like that blows your mind. But I would love to see Nolan try some horror, dude.
Yeah, it's where everyone gets their start.
Or like The Shining is like in that tradition with like Kubrick.
Yeah, Kubrick.
Yeah, you know, Nolan's been saying too that he loves Obsession, and I think he really likes Backrooms, which is the two Gen Z YouTuber horror movies that did really well this year. So he's like inspired. He wants to beat the kids a little bit, I think.
Yeah, gotta rise up. Dylan, did you get to see the Lanterns trailer?
Yes, I did.
Coming out of San Diego Comic-Con. Big improvement.
Big improvement, but still looks terrible. It does not look good. I don't like the way the constructs look. Everything looks too dark. Sinestro, like,
I hate the uniform.
Yeah, the uniform still looks bad. Sinestro needs to be more like the color of Sinestro's skin needs to be more vibrant. It's way too muted. I did see some people showing some before and after pics from like the teaser to now of his uniform, and show they turned up the green a lot on the uniform, which is very funny that they did that. But I'm just not interested in this. This whole like, there's only one ring, and Hal and John are fighting over it, and it's like I don't care about any of that. It doesn't look interesting.
We got beat up guy and take his ring.
Also, they're doing the whole like, here's a Guardian in human form because we don't have the budget to actually do a Guardian, so it's just going to be this random white lady. And it's like, okay, why even have a Guardian at that point? It's a lot of questionable things. This was the best trailer yet they've done for Lanterns, but it's still bad.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like they're getting the Green Lantern powers correct. Unfortunately. But that Spider-Man movie is going to be fucking good, though, right?
It looks good. Excited about that.
That comes out on Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it should be good.
You seen it in IMAX?
No, because the Odyssey has exclusivity.
Out by the Odyssey.
Yeah, in the US. Yeah, because I saw the director was talking about, I was like, we did a lot of really cool IMAX shots for Spider-Man. It looks awesome. It's like you're actually web slinging, like you're actually on top of the building. It's like, well, in the US, you can't see it in IMAX because the Odyssey has exclusivity for like 4 weeks. So,
man, I dislike Dylan to such a degree. I'm like kind of contemplating going to a place with IMAX screens just so I could see Spider-Man in IMAX and tell him I did it.
You won't.
I won't, because it's too expensive.
I know you won't.
I got kids, but I would do it out of spite. I would consider it. But it should be fun, though. Apparently, that one's going to do like $1.5 billion or something crazy. It's going to do
a lot of money.
Sully, are you going to get out of your apartment to go see the Spider-Man movie?
Yes, I will. I totally will. And I think I'm already seeing hopefully some corporate syzygy. Like, and we're going to talk about Maximum X-Men in the show, but I saw the cover of it in the homework you gave and the link you sent, and I'm like who's who on this cover? It's like, oh, there's Storm, there's Colossus. Is that Psylocke? Is that Betsy? Because that's not the Psy sword. That's Excalibur she's holding. I think that's Betsy. And then there's Firestorm and Iceman on the cover too. So I'm like, I totally think that Sadie Sink in the Spider-Man movie, hopefully she's going to be Angelica Jones, Firestar. And Peter will have amazing friends. You can introduce Bobby there too. I mean, and that would be a great segue to introduce the X-Men in the MCU. I could see. I'm like, and I'm seeing it here. Like, am I reading into this too much, or is that corporate syzygy right in front of us? We'll find out.
More corporate scissoring.
Yes.
So You haven't even talked about that. Extraction 3 is shooting this week. They just announced it
I
this week.
saw the photo of Hemi with a couple of the stars. It looked like they had Idris Elba in there, and
Yeah,
yes,
some
I'm
of the
very
director.
excited.
Yeah.
Chris Hemsworth is a pretty awesome actor, especially in that film where he's just beating people up, and jumping out of stuff. You don't like Extraction?
I know Extraction's fun. The action's cool. It's just everything else in those movies is
The story is inconsequential. You're not there.
They
for
have to
that.
keep thinking of things for him to extract. That's the problem.
Yes, you gotta have a reason to get out of there.
Next dental school.
I'm shocked that you watch it because you have such a low opinion of Netflix films.
Yeah, but those are fun enough. They do have the Netflix problem of the effects looking horrific. Anytime they do any type of special effects in those movies, the VFX and the Extraction movies look awful.
Well, you should watch War Machine if you want just some like mindless good action, but that one's got better effects because Netflix didn't produce it. They just bought it after the fact. I'm telling you that right now. But Sully, you love Iron Lad, right?
Iron Lad, as in like the ultimate?
No, as in Tom Holland in the MCU, Iron Lad.
Oh, I didn't mind that one bit. I kind of I like all three Spider-Men that we got, since like Sam Raimi's. All three Spider-Men are really good. But I like the Tom Holland one. He's got the sense of humor. He looks the part. I got no problems with the Iron Lad shit. No. Because MCU has been different continuity since day one. You know what I mean? There have always been differences. So yeah, sure, I could have used Uncle Ben, putting Aunt May as an Uncle Ben standby, that was kind of hard to take, but
Mhm.
You like the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies?
They're okay.
The first one is kind of maybe okay, and the second one is complete dog shit.
Yeah, you're talking to a fan of the Sam Raimi ones. I love Raimi movies anyway. Like I enjoyed.
I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about the Andrew Garfield fucking.
It's a direct comparison.
Electro.
I like Spider-Man 3 better than Spider-Man 2. Everyone's gaga over that.
Spider-Man 3 sucks.
No, it doesn't.
It's fucking terrible.
It's
Two movies.
best
It's
one.
two movies shoved together.
It's
It
good for
is.
the memes. And that counts
Poorly.
for something.
Oh, Emo Pete was so much fun. Oh, come on. And Ursula, wasn't she? Look at it. You made the wrong choice. He could have had Ursula. She made her cookies. Come on.
Spider-Man 2 is the best one.
People keep saying that, but
That's the
where
truth.
was Spidey's sense of humor? He should have been quipping while thwipping, and he wasn't.
Yes, exactly. That's all of Tobey Maguire. Tobey Maguire was a terrible Spider-Man and a
That's why-
spectacular Peter Parker.
But that's why I
Andrew
like.
Garfield was a spectacular Spider-Man
Mhm,
and a fucking terrible Peter Parker.
mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's
That's
too cool
the
to be
problem.
Peter Parker.
He was too cool to be Peter Parker, and Tobey Maguire never learned how to quip as Spider-Man. So the only one that's even close to getting both of them right is Tom Holland, except for they turned him into Iron Lad.
And they
Yeah.
fucked up his origin.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what the new movie's about, is they're trying to retcon it a little bit, right? They like erased, he's in a new universe where nobody knows who he is, and his suit is like a normal suit now, I think.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
Doctor Strange at the end of No Way Home, nobody remembers him anymore. That's the way that they were able to like solve everything. I'm assuming that he's going to be stalking MJ and then, saving Ned. That's what it looks like before they become friends again.
Yeah.
The best thing about the end of No Way Home was that you weren't going to have to see those characters anymore. You're like, thank God we can get a real Mary Jane, a not fat Ned, and they brought him back. I don't understand.
Terrible taste.
Yeah.
And Tom Holland will never let Zendaya not work.
Mhm.
It's his boo. I get it.
Aw.
Yeah, she's fucking terrible as MJ.
She's not MJ. She's
Michelle.
Michelle. Yeah.
Michelle Jones.
Michelle Jones. Completely
Oh,
different
Because
character.
she's the Michelle Perez character from the one that
White man can't jump.
slot
Oh.
era where she was just a bitch that let him crash as his roommate. She was the leaseholder that he ended up her roommate.
Hmm.
during the Slot era, and she just fucking hated him the entire time. Like literally from the time she selected him to be her roommate, she was bitch to him.
Well, the movie is going to do gangbusters, and I think most people are going to go check it out. One of the super fan of man says that's Michelle Gonzalez, Doc. But I do
Gonzalez. You're right.
I do want to remind everybody that we do have a sponsor for today's stream. It is Unholy Nightmare number 3, and you are at like 48 hours left to actually back the book on Kickstarter. There will be a live stream tomorrow to close out the campaign with our good friends Drew and Aaron here tomorrow. And we got a little trailer action. I think we do.
Previously, monsters became mankind's last line of defense, led by an ancient vampire, a fragile alliance built on distrust, a vigilante turned something darker, a cop fighting the beast within, a cursed priest bound to a demon, a child trapped in a monster's body. But now, something ancient has surfaced. The Tome of Leviathan, a book of apocalyptic power that no human can understand. Except one, Dr. Herbert West. Cold, methodical, obsessed with conquering death. First, he brought the dead back. Then, he learned to control them. Now, with the tome, he won't just raise the dead, he'll command them. Dinosaurs, corpses, monsters, everything that's ever died will fight for him. And if that wasn't enough, something inside the team is breaking. If they fail, the world won't survive.
I like that last shot. That's great.
That was the last piece of art of Vu Don's career before he passed away, unfortunately. But he did an awesome dinosaur over the. Gosh, dang, I'm forgetting the name of the character. I'm feeling like an idiot. But congratulations to Drew and the team behind Unholy Nightmare number 3. And like I said, he will be here tomorrow with Mr. Aaron Sparrow celebrating the campaign. And obviously it did very, very well. Hoping to do even better down the home stretch. So you're doing better now, Renie? Your internet's back up?
I think so. And I don't know if anything I said previously was heard at all, but I restarted my modem. It seems to be better. So fingers crossed.
Cool.
There appears to be no lag on the audio. Your video appears to be a little bit frozen, but that's fine.
Oh.
Yeah, is your video supposed to be frozen, Renie?
Well, no, it's not. Yeah, it's an artistic choice. At least I can hear you and you can hear me.
Yeah,
exactly. Good. Let's hear it for the peeps. Jack Live says, so I've been reading the new Iron Man. I've generally liked it. Heard about this double shipping and Tony in jail story. Debating whether I should drop the book. I mean, if you've generally been liking it, I don't know that double shipping and Tony being in jail. You know, Josh Williamson is doing Superman, which has been great. He's doing G.I. Joe, which has been great. I'm not enjoying Iron Man. I don't hate it, but if you're really enjoying it, I think you should probably stick with it. Mm-hmm. What do you think, Dylan? Is that a good reason to give up on the book?
No, I don't think so. I don't think that if you're enjoying the book, I don't think that's a solid reason to drop it.
Yeah.
If you're enjoying it, double shipping should probably be considered probably good. I mean, it gives you a second book that you to read each month.
Not like Carmen Carnero's art has been so amazing that you don't want to see somebody else illustrated. I thought it looked better with the backup artist. So, are you reading the Iron Man book, Dylan?
No, I read the first couple issues and dropped off.
Yeah, it's a little bit generic. It's starting to go someplace. They finally built up a villain, but give it some time, dude. See what happens. You might like it. Super Franda Man says, has anyone read Paul Jenkins' new Century miniseries? The continuity made no sense as it didn't explain how Lindy was alive after being killed by Bullseye, and also didn't explain how Bob came back to life after being ripped in half by Null during King in Black. Jenkins was a good writer, but now he's bad. I believe what Paul Jenkins was trying to do, and I've read 2 or 3 issues of it, is that he didn't like what they did with Century after he left the character. And this is him going back and kind of doing what John Byrne is doing with X-Men Elsewhere and kind of rewriting the character's continuity if he had maintained control over the character's path moving forward. Although I think he was responsible for Lindy's death, right, Doc? I think he was.
I feel like it was.
He also undid that. That was the one that didn't make sense.
That might have been like an editorial mandate back then.
But this is
hey, we got rid
not happening in continuity. This is all in the past.
But we don't have to deal with Cripple Sentry.
Well, no, that character's still in continuity. Like I said, this is happening 15 years ago.
I know.
But
so we don't have to worry about Cripple Sentry in this.
Yeah. I'm kind of done with these type of stories where they're all about trauma. It's just like a trauma overload. A lot of people like to do these. Sometimes they work out, but for the most part, they all feel very, very similar. Sully, you know what I'm saying?
I brought it up last week, and I got my usual Razzies in the chat. I brought up The Sopranos and how that kind of ruined everything for everyone else, because it was all about therapy and the therapeutic voyage of your protagonist, and it's just how it's inspired 2 generations of writers, but still it did a lot of damage because everything's still about trauma, especially when it comes to I won't even get into my misogyny with female characters, and everything's about elevating yourself and getting over your traumas. These are fictions. They're not they're not a substitute for real trauma. I mean, real therapy. Why, get your therapy session out of my fiction. Just entertain me with some mindless entertainment. I want to take a break from thinking. Please.
Tom King has made an entire career out of his midlife crisis and so selling it to us as story.
Or Dennis Camp with the social justice traumas of and it just, or just I'm just done.
Well, that's because he's a retarded stoner.
I understand. In the real world, Batman would be crippled with PTSD and trauma, and he wouldn't be able to walk because of all the things that he's been through.
That's why he's fictional. Not in the real world. He's made up, right? And that's why it's they don't have the real world physics. They got PIM particles and unstable molecules and magic and spider bites and shit. It's supposed to be fantastic. It's supposed to be a fantasy. And get your trauma out of my fictional world, please. You've had enough. You pass the microphone. You've had your time.
The Super Franda Man says Eddie Brock's back as Venom in October. However, the new Friendly Neighborhood Mary Jane series reveals that Venom has left her a gift. More MJ Venom.
Oh,
I hadn't seen anything about Friendly Neighborhood Mary Jane. Is that real?
I don't know.
It can't be, right? They're fucking with us.
No, they definitely can. This is Marvel we're talking about. Doing absolutely retarded shit is 100% square in their wheelhouse.
It is real. Friendly Neighborhood Mary Jane from Ashley Allen and Phil Noto.
Yeah.
Didn't good artist on it.
That
at least-
that had a little hyperlink for the
Uh-huh.
links you sent, and I clicked on that one too. And yeah, it says she's a producer, like Hollywood producer, I guess. And it's
Mhm.
slice of life, maybe ish, and 5-issue series. Yeah, but I don't
And
know
she's
about.
got
I
a
didn't hear
little
about this.
venom left in her.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteeing it made her pregnant.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, you're probably right. That's hilarious. What I was laughing about is I kind of don't know what Mary Jane does. I thought she was a supermodel for a while in canon.
She was.
Yeah,
And an
it's kind of
actress.
funny to
Then
think
an
of like,
actress.
yeah, like what does
Yeah.
Mary Jane do? Really? Like,
In the
model?
okay, so in the 90s, she was an actor. In the 80s, 70s, and 80s, she was a model. Then
Mhm.
she transitioned into acting, and
Yeah.
she was on a soap opera
Yes.
for a lot of the like 300, like the late 200s into the 300s. Then after One More Day, she's not really had any real gigs. She was Tony Stark's assistant for a while, and she basically played Pepper Potts. And then she has recently been there was that whole The Amazing Mary Jane series where she was a Hollywood producer. It's the only thing that I don't remember which of the generic Stephanies it was. What
Leah
one
Williams.
the one with the tits. The fat one with the tits. She was the only good thing she's ever written in her entire fucking career, because she had been like, I don't know, like craft services in Hollywood for 10 minutes. So it's the only thing, it's her only life experience. And she wrote what she knew. And it actually turned out to be not a terrible comic, but it was boring as shit. And it was the one with Mysterio, like, as the other producer on some fucking movie with Mary Jane. And then I don't think a movie ever actually happened.
I feel like we
Mary
pushed the
Jane,
button
she
there
should
with
be
Doc.
she should be a Twitch streamer. They want
No
to stick
doubt.
to
Should be an influencer.
Talk
Yeah.
about trauma in comic
Nowadays,
books.
she would be.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dylan? Eddie Brock back as Venom with Charles Soule writing?
Mhm.
Tony
Could-
Daniel on art, right?
Could be
Charles
good.
Soule sucks.
No, he's doing the X-Men book.
Mhm.
Tony Daniel. But,
Yeah, Tony Daniel's
Yeah,
doing
Tony
Tommaso Bianchi.
No. Yeah, it's it's the one where they realize that, oh, it's not Simone Bianchi, it's somebody else Bianchi. They just didn't realize the first name of the person that they hired.
But I'm glad to see Eddie Brock is returning as Venom. It's been stupid that he has been Venom
Yeah.
for like 5 years.
They had to
First it
go
was
back.
Dylan, then it was
One
Jim.
of these days, they had to like go back. You put the toys back in the toy box the way you found them. And Eddie was bound to be Venom once again one day. And you know what? I think Charles Soule did a great job on Eddie Brock Carnage. I thought that was a real highlight of what was going on. Like, it was really creepy. It was really grotesque and gross. And it had this Dexter angle to it as well. And I overall, I really enjoyed that book. And I was surprised too. I like a book that surprises me as well. And I would give this a chance. Maybe I'll pick up issue 1 just based on, the writer alone, because he did a good job the last time.
Jag Live says, can I do a shout out for my friend Jimmy G's channel, Godlike Statue? It'll have Jorge Villar Sculptor for Sideshow at 8 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. He did Mr. Freeze. Nice.
That's our friend Lane Kramer, and he's really into a 1/6 scale figures. I got a few. I got an Endgame Cap over there holding Mjolnir. So that's like one of my favorite Cap moments. I love that. Who doesn't, huh? But I mean, he's really into the 6 scale figures, and I love that stuff because they're so hyper detailed and just the level of attention on these things. And you find one like that's that calls out to you. The answer is always yes. Just get it. It's going to make you happy just looking at it on your shelf.
So Renie, as an artist, obviously we see lots of work in progress, doing pages and stuff like that. Do you tune in for the other types of art? Are you going to want to watch somebody like sculpt a 12-inch scale like statue of a character that you like?
Sure, yeah. I think with the most of the stuff I listen to on YouTube isn't art stuff, but if it's usually I like watching crafts or things that aren't drawing comics. So sculpting, I would watch that because it's like, oh, this isn't something I'm doing every day and already, I'm looking at all the time.
Yeah, I
That
could
sounds
see
really
like
cool.
Pear having his own little like spinning thing where he's making clay pots like he's in Ghost and shit, right? Huh?
Yeah, that's what I watch farrier videos of like people clipping the toenails of horses. Do you ever watch those? You guys?
Oh yeah.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
pretty
the
gross.
overgrown hooves that they're like curved and stuffed, and
Yeah.
I've seen that. That's crazy.
Actually, something kind of funny. I'll watch. There's a lot of times I'll watch people playing video games in the background because it's good for multitasking. And there's a guy, he plays retro games, and it's a Game Boy Color game called like The Muppets is all it's called. And I guess it's a terrible game, and it took him 30 hours to beat it. But if you knew how to play it, it would take you like 1 hour. So it's him just screaming at the camera for like 29 hours because he can't, because he's frustrated. And I had that on the background for like, I'm trying to finish it. I'm 10 hours in now. And I'm like, I'm going to finish this
Oh, that's
30-hour
great.
video of a guy screaming at the camera. It's going to be sweet.
It's art.
That's
I would-
funny.
I would rather watch Bob Ross. I can't do friggin' outrage screamers on YouTube anymore. Good luck. You'll find your
I-
audience.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I listen most YouTube that I am watching. I use that term very loosely. I kind of listen to more than anything. So if I have to pay attention to the screen to see what they're doing, it kind of, as much as I'd love to, I want to watch people like do art and stuff, but then I'm like, I get bored. I get my ADHD kicking in, and I'm like, I want to look at something else.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb says, "We the geeks, y'all, just like we was kings and queens in Africa and Egypt, but you can tell that version of Cersei was a self-insert of Emily Wilson." I'll have to send that one over to Sully. You're the one that's read that version of the Odyssey.
Reading. I'm currently and I'm starting with the Iliad, so I'm doing both the Iliad then the Odyssey, and they're two of my all-time favorite books as well. I love these stories, and I gotta say, Emily Wilson had a really good introduction, very historical, talking about meter and about the poetry of the original, and about her choices about words and stuff, and and it is very academic feminist too, but it's not all that bad. It's like, I think there's much ado about nothing.
Yeah,
so I'll get.
You got to pick a lane, Sully. I can't take this. One day I'm an enormous misogynist, and the next day I'm this weird feminist apologist.
Peach Momoko had it coming because of that
This
ultimate X-Men.
girlfriend of yours is ruining you.
My
just
girlfriend
putting it
ruined me for all. Yeah.
I
fucking
saw a
Two-Face.
clip of Emily Wilson's. I don't know if it's like how much influence she had on the actual film, but I suspect that the changes were more Christopher Nolan's own decision, because I saw a clip of Emily Wilson saying that there was not enough heroism and there was so much guilt or whatever, and there wasn't like the heroic stuff,
Right.
that
Like glory,
was what the
yeah,
story's
Shame
actually
versus
about.
glory.
Yeah,
That was her
glory.
theme.
She's like, where's the glory?
Where's the glory?
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what Odysseus felt. He was the Odysseus,
Yeah.
sacker of cities, wise in warcraft. I mean, all the Homeric epitaphs for him, and it's kind of ignored in this, this Americanized, shame, guilt-riddled PTSD.
Nolan
trauma
is not
story.
American. He's British.
Well, I would say that Odysseus definitely is. He reminds me of Matthew McConaughey. He reminds me of Cooper. He reminds me of Leo DiCaprio in Inception. I didn't
That's
see
British
Oppenheimer.
You
influence
haven't
on American
seen
movies.
you haven't seen the movie, and he's nothing like Cooper at all.
Okay, well, I mean, like, I'm getting it.
That's insane to be like, this movie I've never seen. He's just like in this other
It's
movie.
not-
He's not like Cooper at all. He's much more like Oppenheimer post-bomb. That's
Well,
more
I mean,
how
the-
he functions. He's not like Cooper whatsoever.
There's a broken man. I mean,
I would say so.
Thing.
Yeah.
Searching to heal something
Well,
within
it's to the
when he's-
point. Yeah, sorry. It's to the point where the there's definitely supernatural stuff happening, but it's someone posted a critique that I thought it was interesting, not in a good way, as in like all the supernatural stuff could be seen as it was in his head. It was possible to view it that way because he's the only survivor. Who knows if it was all in his head? And Athena was, spoilers, I guess, the Athena that Zendaya played was a vision, and she looked just like this priestess that his Odysseus's soldiers killed in Troy. And first of all, why was the Temple of Athena the big deal in Troy when she favored Odysseus, and that wasn't the city that she favored? It kind of makes no sense, but it was so even this goddess that was supposed to favor him the most turned out to be just his guilt-ridden hallucination, and that's just not the character, right?
You know, real quick, one cool thing about the Cersei scene in Nolan's version is Zeus. You can kind of go the other way too, which is fun. And I had to watch it twice to catch this, but you hear thunder, and the thunder is arguing with Calypso over whether or not to let him go, and her acting supports that. Like, the thunder is a cue where once she hears it, she says, "Stop eating the lotus," and she begins her process of rehabilitating
They could
him.
have made that more Okay, they could have made that more obvious, because Calypso is supposed to be forced to let him go. And like when I watched it, I actually didn't pick up on that. That is interesting. I think it could have been more obvious, because it's like, oh, she just lets him go instead of being forced to do it. Yeah, and I wouldn't mind the changes to Cersei, except I do think that making her not a temptress anymore, it's changing the story way too much. And if it is his fever dream, why wouldn't he imagine this hot temptress that keeps him there for years and why wouldn't that be his imagination, right? So either way, it doesn't make sense. It makes it much less entertaining, in my opinion.
I'm just
BL
going to say
Blankenship.
that any sort of postmodern interpretation of a classic is fucking wrong. The end.
Okay. BL Blankenship. Renie, I have a publisher in the US of A and UK interested in my upcoming Hellfire series. We should talk about working the Asian market for it.
Cool. Yeah, okay. Cool. Sure. The thing is, like, I have never really worked in the Asian market, so it's one of those things where I don't really know anyone. It's not like relatively I come back and I have all these connections in Taiwan and Japan. I'm like kind of an outsider here as well. I've just worked in the States for so long, but I'm planning on attending some conventions. Now that I'm here, I plan to do a lot more shows in Japan, because that's the biggest market. And if I could make some connections there, that would be really great. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Gallup says, I was really annoyed, especially how nobody is in it. The monster Skyla was a joke like the spinning axe scene, and no one cares about Ellen Page.
Yeah, the nobody joke being taken out was disappointing. Odysseus isn't as funny as he's supposed to be. He's like a little mirthful. It's kind of like, oh, he comes up with ways to trick people and then he feels bad about it. It wasn't an enjoyable characterization.
Yeah. Jag Live, if you speak to Aaron, tell him he needs to check out the Hot Toys Alien Queen figure, 21 inches tall, 40 inches long at Sideshow booth. Oh, I imagine by now he's probably seen it, but I will drop him a line, because we were looking at that. I think we were looking at that toy on Wednesday or Tuesday. I'm sorry, when we recorded the Geek Fix this week, and it looked pretty impressive. I will admit that. Federico de la Casa, as an Italian who grew up with modern and older mythology, and as a Nolan fan, I can only say this is Nolan's Odyssey and not Homer's.
Yeah, with that, I know too that there's other times where the Odyssey comes up in like ancient literature, and Nolan definitely read all that stuff and weaved that into it too. And I think one of them is like, there's like the Roman like critique of the Odyssey almost is like the Aeneid, right? And so there's like stuff like that, and then
the Aeneid is a
and it is like, yeah, like you guys, people don't like this, but it's like maybe where the baddies is like the plot, like it almost sides more with Troy than with Greece.
Well,
Agamemnon.
Do the Aeneid. When you mix it, it gets confusing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's just like, it's like I think that helps to know that, though, that he just read everything and he's weaving it all together, and it's kind of fun, I think. But yeah.
But I mean, if you watch his Batman, there are certainly elements that are very true to the comic book experience and stuff like that. But that's very much Nolan's Batman, Dylan. Like there are certain things about that Batman that have never been seen in the comic books.
Yeah, and it's the same with Odyssey. For the most part, it's Nolan's thing, but there are occasional things where it's like, oh, that feels like it's straight out of the poem, like we were talking about earlier with the underworld scene, where it's like, oh, that feels like exactly what I imagined.
Yeah, and that is one of the coolest scenes in the movie.
I think the confusion comes in when you watch something like Dunkirk, where it feels like he went out of his way to be as true to the exact time and place that it took place in, that maybe people were hoping would show up in the Odyssey, that maybe it wasn't there. He didn't take as many liberties there, it didn't seem like.
Mm-hmm.
Then he says, I don't
know
think
if he's really the... Oh, sorry. Clearly there's still a lag. I don't know if he's really a good fit for anything historical, anything older than like the Edwardian era. I just think his brain and his aesthetics don't really work with like that.
It's hard to be a fantasy
and
storyteller and ground everything in reality, because fantasy is fantastical.
Yes.
And if you can't accept the elements, it could be just
kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, I don't think Nolan's deconstruction work as those do in Comics the Myth has worked for over 3,000 years, and he thinks he can change the recipe.
Well, I mean, there is something to be said about the hubris of basically everyone in Hollywood in thinking that they can do it better. Yep. That seems to be a very, very common trope of basically everyone in fucking Hollywood, that they can never just take something as it's made or as it was occurred or as it was written and adapt it to another medium. No, they always need to make it, they need to twist it and pervert it into something different. They are,
but they've been doing that for a long time, where they go out and grab mythologies and they change them and everything.
No, I agree. But I'm saying that there is something
fucking Marvel, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying that every single attempt at that is some perversion of, because otherwise you'd be looking at, there's never anything new. Because it's all kind of influenced by something else. My point is, Hollywood is utterly incapable of actually adapting something to a different medium. They have to fucking change it because they have too much hubris to not. Even if they say, I want to do an adaptation of this, I love this thing, they gotta fuck with it somehow, some way, every single time. There is a 0% chance that they will ever directly adapt something. The closest you got was fucking what was it? Gus Van Sant doing a shot-for-shot remake of Amityville. Like
they did Psycho, wasn't it?
Oh, Psycho, yeah.
Or it was Psycho, yeah. He did that Psycho. He did that shot-for-shot remake. And
that
look,
sucks.
That's the
like I've already fucking seen this.
It is. It is, because they're not adapting something. They're just remaking the exact same thing that already exists with different people. It's just an Elseworld version. Like, hey, what if nobody came up with this idea until right now and cast now actors? That's all it is. But like looking at something and saying, hey, I love fucking Invincible. I love Spider-Man. I love this one story from Spider-Man. And then literally taking the panels as your storyboards, the dialogue as your dialogue. Obviously, you're going to need to pad it out a tiny little bit because 22 pages back then, especially for older comics, was one story told in one issue, is not going to make for a 90-minute movie. But when they take that, they are utterly incapable. Even when they have the actual 100% of the source material, it's good to be directly adapted. They can't do it because they have too much fucking hubris, and they have to change it somehow every single time.
Super Frandaman, what's the point of the new Avengers series if the Maximum X-Men series will have the X-Men just being the official Avengers in the wake of Armageddon? Kind of stupid.
Yes.
I think it's because the Avengers are so down on their luck that people finally turned against them, Doc.
What's the point of the new Avengers series? Well, to actually answer this question, because Marvel needs to have an Avengers series in publication when the new movie comes out. That's the answer.
Yeah.
Storyline wise, yes. Based on the premise and everything going along, the Avengers should not be in existence when the Avengers movie comes out, because that's the story they're telling in the comics. So there shouldn't be an Avengers title when there aren't Avengers to be in the Avengers. However, because of corporate scissoring, not syzygy, they are still going to publish one because their mandate is to publish a bunch of Avengers stuff when an Avengers movie comes out. That's the true answer. Storyline wise, no, there's absolutely no reason. There's no point in the new Avengers series. I mean, it is stupid, yes, but it's Disney. That's the answer, Disney.
Yes. Break the silence there.
No, I mean,
Wes left, I guess.
Well, there's one thing about the new Avengers book that I'm looking forward to is getting away from the impossible city. They're bring it back down to ground level and bring it back down to Marvel Manhattan, which I always thought was one of my favorite parts of the Avengers. It's like, yeah, you have this team book, these huge challenges, but also New York City was always like this great background character in these Avenger books. And I feel like the Jed McKay run is like really lost sight of that, especially with going like overpowered, and with the impossible city thing. I would bring it back down to earth, please.
I think you had the same problem with the Jason Aaron with the Avengers 1 billion BC or whatever, 1 million or whatever it was, and living in a fucking celestial, and the entire thing being, global scope only.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be buying Armageddon. I don't think so. I don't really. Yeah. I'm really not sold on it. So
I get what it's saying too, is like it's like splitting, and there's gonna be two Avengers books now. One is the X-Men, one is the Avengers post Armageddon, which will have Punisher in it. And so it's kind of weird that they're doing it that way. But like, which one do you read if you want to? I guess
you read them all. You got to catch them all.
Yeah.
Well, that's Disney marketing, or Marvel marketing for you. Read them all. But no, I think it's a valid question. It doesn't make any legitimate sense to have a Avengers book coming out in the wake of an event where the Avengers go away. But corporate mandates are corporate mandates at the end of the day.
Now, who's drawing Maximum X-Men, Doc? Do you recall?
That's Tony Daniel.
Oh, okay. That's Tony Daniel's book. Okay.
Yeah, that's the Tony Daniel book.
I loved his work with Grant Morrison on Batman, but that was like 20 years ago. I know, gee, but still, that guy's really good.
I mean, Tony Daniel's a fantastic fucking artist. I loved all of his stuff whenever he was over at Top Cow. I liked his stuff when he was at Marvel the first time around. Like way back in the 90s. He's become a significantly better artist over that time. But at the same time, he just got off of doing that run on the Jed McKay X-Men book that wasn't terribly great.
What is this?
Wes's
Yeah.
book.
All quiet.
Everybody's
Yeah.
sitting here all quiet. Yeah.
You know,
Well,
We need a leader.
with the
All
two
right, we
Avengers,
got-
real fast with the two Avengers, I am curious which one matters more. Like, yeah, is it a pocket dimension with the one with Punisher, and it's not going to matter, and then they end it, and then they go back to the X-Men one where they're the Avengers?
Yeah, or
real?
is Punisher going to be part of the new Avengers team, which kind of makes
Yes.
sense.
Yeah,
But then he's going to turn on him.
Ooh,
At least that's what they're hinting at. Federico de la Casa, Ulysses is a man that defies the gods with his arrogance, and everybody pays for it, and later reclaims his role, accepting gods. Nolan's is a veteran with PTSD. I think it's Odysseus, right?
Yep.
it's the same word. Yeah, one's Roman. Ulysses is the Roman.
In some languages, it's
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
is
he's
that
in,
the Roman
in
version?
Italy, so it makes sense.
Latin. Hmm.
That one.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
call
didn't realize Nolan was a
Bob.
veteran.
No,
Is that true?
not today.
Oh
I
no,
don't think.
not him.
Oh, Nolan's Odysseus is a veteran with PTSD.
Nolan's the
Correct.
character. Yeah.
He's not there to defy the gods. Return home.
or to enjoy his job.
Sandals says, I think my local theater got a phony version of the Odyssey. The Trojan horse was more of a Cronenberg than Homer, and for some reason, cup-shaped.
Oh.
it was
uh-huh.
Cuphead. You watched Cuphead on, I don't know, Twitch, local theater.
Was this the popcorn bucket he's talking about?
What was he
Oh,
talking
maybe
about, Dylan?
he-
Was it really like a giant cup instead of a horse?
No.
Someone
Two
tweeted out.
girls fighting over ice cream.
Uh-oh.
Someone tweeted out, "What do you do with your Trojan horse popcorn bucket after you see the IMAX? It just sits around. Turn it into a lamp." And they showed it, and it was a lamp. I was like, "Oh, that's hilarious."
Dude.
Oh, they have a Trojan horse popcorn bucket. That horse, like this is a petty thing to actually frame as a critique, but I'm like, a bunch of soldiers are not going to sculpt a horse that looks that nice. Am I crazy for being obsessed about that? I'm like,
No.
that portrayal of the Trojan horse is it's just not believable.
Well, okay. There's sort of counters to that. Is it has to be a gift from Athena? They have to believe it, and then supposedly within the poem, there's a famous like cameo from a famous carpenter, and he's the guy he's like a character. He makes the horse, but they say they make it out of driftwood too. I think.
Yeah, it's
So-
still made out of, I'm not saying it should look like shit, but like that looks like it's made out of brand new wood, and it's like all the wood was perfectly curved. It's a weird hand.
There's-
You got to remember
there's
that
4
these
years to
armies
make it.
traveled with like enormous engineering companies and did like feats that you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
All the walls on the beaches. That was the,
There's a cool
Like,
detail
sure.
in the movie when they get out of the horse inside of Troy. They all got dead legs and they're limping around for like a minute before they can run good.
Because their legs went to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they
You've heard
would
this-
have a lot of engineers, so fine.
You heard the story of Tyre with Alexander the Great, right? As he was
What's-
marching his army, there was the city of Tyre, which was super duper rich because they had this dye that they had nowhere in the world. And it was like purple. It was like the color of royalty or something like that. So they had this really, really rich city. It was like a little island city. And as Alexander was passing it with his army, he wanted to go over there and go worship in their temple. And they told him, absolutely not. You'll never be allowed to step foot on Tyre. So he stopped his army and built a land bridge to the city and went and sacked it. It took him, I think, like 4 months or something like that. But to this day, Tyre is not an island. It's still a peninsula.
Sweet.
So
That's crazy.
those armies did some pretty crazy shit.
Sounds like crap. That's something he would do.
Absolutely.
That reminds me of like the video game Lemmings from the 90s, the DOS game. It's like you got your army, they're like building little slowly moving across towards you.
Would army engineers, that's not the same as a sculptor. You know what? I'm gonna drop it. This is a moot point.
Yeah.
No, I think you have a valid point that engineers are more about making, solving a physical problem, and there are no style points, whereas an artisan is going for style points.
Yeah, but you see the engineering wonders of the ancient world, and they're like the most beautiful buildings still in the world.
I understand, but that was for the engineers were only involved on the structural side. Then they had the artisans do all the ornate.
Yeah.
On it.
Don't you guys know they had the aliens 3D print it? That's what they did.
That's what happened.
Something like that. But I'm with you. There's always moments in certain movies that are like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. It shouldn't look like that. And Federico says, basically, Doc says that Nolan's and Hollywood's hubris is greater than Ulysses. That's why they can't show it. They should recover like he did.
Yeah, there definitely is a certain hubris to all the adaptations. This whole I can do it better. It's just like the whole thing with Lord of the Rings of Power. We're gonna tell the story that Tolkien never told. It's only someone that thought they could they were on the level of Tolkien and can build on his work in an actually competent way would say that. And that's just so heretical. And I don't understand how anyone, like actual good writers don't think that way. Actual good writers have humility. So.
Yeah.
The worst adaptation ever is Noah, though.
Oh God,
yeah.
Yes.
God. I was like, I cannot believe it. This has nothing to do with the story of the Bible, other than there's a big boat, a guy named Noah. It's all about like climate change.
With the Odyssey, one thing that almost like helped me is my expectations. I was really worried about woke stuff, and then it wasn't as woke as I thought. Even like, but the thing I was thinking like, oh, they're gonna have Penelope kill all the suitors instead of Odysseus, and then she's gonna be like, by the way, Odysseus, when you were traveling, did you ever sleep with anyone? Because I remained true. And he's gonna be like, oh, actually, I did. Sorry, and she's like, double standard. She looks at the camera, double standard. And that didn't happen. So I was very happy with it.
Yeah. The woke stuff, it was like, there was, the only woke thing, quote unquote, was the casting, which was like, why did you cast Helen of Troy as that? As, Helen of Troy is not supposed to look like that. Why was Sinan there? But also, I even disagree with casting Matt Damon and Tom Holland as Telemachus and Odysseus. I don't think they look like the character. They look like Americans. But that was the least of the problems again. So I'm kind of in the same, I have the same reaction. I was relieved by the end of the movie. At least they didn't take out the vengeance. At least they still had him kill the suitors, right? But the more time went on, the more I was able to reflect on it and realize how much the message was changed. And then I just got more and more annoyed.
This person says that the Odyssey will be lucky to make $500 million and it's a huge financial flop. There have only been so many movies that have done over $250 million worldwide on their opening weekend. Of those movies, which isn't all that many, only one of them didn't top $1 billion, and that was Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, which went over $900 million. So if you want to take like this historical precedence for how well it's going to do, it's likely to do at least $900 million. So I think it'll go well over $500 billion. But
I think so too. It's unlikely that it's going to just fall straight off a cliff after week one, and have like a 95% loss.
Although this is the first movie that's been this dependent on IMAX screening, so there is a little bit of it that there isn't really precedent for. because it did
But,
like I think 50 million on IMAX.
But no, the one thing I'm going to say is I'm looking at the casting on this as, especially Helen of Troy, the face that launched 1,000 ships. Nolan decided to go a different way, which is it still launched 1,000 ships, but just in the other direction.
Yeah. Weird decision.
To leave.
Well, there's a line where I forget her husband, but he's Punisher. He's like, they say she's the face that launched 1,000 ships, more like 500 now, and he makes her turn her head, and he gave her a pimp scar because when he got her back.
Yeah, it was really, it was mean. It was like mocking the idea that she launched 1,000 ships. So I understand wanting to change some things and have a new twist on certain stories, even though I don't think you should do that with classics. I think that's just there's a reason those stories have survived this long, but that struck me as of all the things you should change, you probably shouldn't change something like how Helen of Troy looked and that she was an objective great beauty. Basically, you're saying that all the historians and all the poets are liars, and everybody in ancient Greek was either a liar or an idiot by going on and on for thousands of years that she was a great objective beauty, and that was something that was hammered in, in their literature. So I found that insulting.
Yeah, but I think it's Nolan's probably his commentary on, modern Eurocentric beauty standards.
But in the poems that she's described as having blonde hair and blue eyes.
I know. We know exactly how she's supposed to look, but he's just a fucking douche.
I think it's a trap.
I don't think Lupita Nyong'o is like, she's not ugly, but like Zendaya, they make her look worse on screen than they do on the red carpet for some reason. Like every time I see Zendaya, she looks worse on screen than she looks when she's doing a photo shoot for an ad or on the red carpet. And I don't understand why it's like they're doing the actress
because you can't Photoshop an entire movie, but you can for a still photo on the red carpet.
Maybe.
That's the only way these women are pretty.
This will be the fourth Avengers roster in a row where Captain Marvel is still on the team. Hickman, Aaron, McKay, and now Zdarsky. No one cares. Stop it.
Well, she can't support her own title, so you got to put her somewhere, right?
Something.
She is the mightiest. She's the strongest or the fastest or the bestest ever.
Yeah. They're Earth's mightiest superheroes, and she's Earth's mightiest hero, so I guess she's got to be on the team. But really nowhere else to put her, I guess, if you want to keep her in publishing, because she can't hold her own title anymore. Or never really could.
Ever.
As we can tell. Yeah. It's not a great team. I don't think it'll last very long, to be completely honest. And then Wraith X7, did anyone on the panel watch Ulysses 31?
Kinda. It wasn't big in Boston because we had Robotech and Starblazers, as we say around here. But Ulysses really didn't hit very well here, and that was the early 80s. Yeah,
I have not seen Ulysses 31.
I've literally never heard of it until this moment.
What the hell is it, Sully? Is it a film?
It's anime, and it's an anime set in the 31st century. It's the story of Ulysses trying to get home. So it's the giant anime style
version
spaceship with kind of looks like Yamato a little bit, and the guy with the hair in front of his eye. And so
sounds fun.
Yeah, it's totally early 80s, just Japanese anime. Yeah, and it's fun. It's okay. And but also it comes through France, so it's been polluted with a French translation that made it to English, and then it didn't work for Mark Twain. It doesn't work here.
Whoa, you trashing Mark Twain?
No. Mark Twain actually did a really funny book called the Celebrated Jumping Frog of Calabasas County, which he translated himself into French and then brought back into English, like literally, and just it's a cute, exercise in translation. And
so it's like what we used to do with Babelfish in the 90s when we put in a sentence and keep translating it from one language to another language to another language and then bring it back to English.
By the time you get it back to English,
monstrosity it was.
Right, yeah, like Darth Vader saying, "Do not want."
Sandal says Marvel, Nolan, or anyone else making me spend money on woke stuff instead of funny super chats. Somebody get these beggars out of here.
The memes, there's some good memes.
There's all kinds of stuff. You could go watch Young Washington, which according to Dylan was actually a pretty damn good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Ooh.
I enjoyed it.
You watched that one for 4th of July, right?
Yeah.
Is it better than the Odyssey?
I liked it better, yeah.
Wow.
Which is surprising. I did not expect that.
I'm pretty surprised by that one, dude.
Yeah. I was
Not that you're like anti George Washington, but it wasn't like a big budget film or anything like that, right?
No. It was good. Had some very heavy-handed dialogue, but I enjoyed it.
Oh, yeah, they always have to throw in stuff like that nowadays. But yeah, you can spend your money on whatever you want. There'll be a good movie coming out next week for you to watch. What was the one that you watched this week, dude?
Motor City.
Motor City. Are you recommending that one?
It's a very unique movie. I liked it, but I think a lot of people won't. It's a lot of buildup and there's no dialogue.
What's the buildup about? Like the world coming to an end?
No, it's a guy that gets set up for reasons. Something happens in the movie, and a guy gets set up and has to take the fall for some drugs, and so he goes to prison. And so then a lot of stuff happens while he's in prison. He has to get out and get revenge, and it's like you're constantly waiting for him to get revenge and for the action to start. And it's like a ton of build, especially because there's no dialogue and there's a lot of like slow-mo with needle drops, and you're like, but then once there's like a sick fight scene in an elevator that's awesome in the movie, but depends if that pays off for you or not, because it's a lot of build-up.
So they needed like Alan Rickman or
Alan Rickman.
Not Alan Rickman.
He's dead.
Rickman guy, or the Jason Statham guy. Then he'd just be beating up people the whole time.
Yeah, well, you have Alan Rickman in this, and he beats people up. Just it takes a long time to get there.
Oh, well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
And then Jack Lai says, did anyone else's LCS get their Marvel books this week? Mine did not. That sucks, dude. Yeah, although I read a lot of Marvel books this week, and it might not have been a bad thing. You might have missed out on some fucking pain. Marvel wasn't very good. Did you enjoy Marvel this week, Sully?
I did not read any Marvel books this week, and I am so blessed and grateful to be free of that, responsibility in a way. No, I read 2 new DC books this week. That was the only things on my pull list this week. And I got
Amazing Spider-Man?
No Amazing Spider-Man. I'm blissfully unaware of it. I know a new Uncanny X-Men came out this week. What else came out this week? And what
Spider-Man Long Way Home was in there. But ASM, like Ed McGuinness does the art, and there's like a couple of places where it felt like Steve Ditko, like era Spider-Man just with the visuals, and it looked really good. But the story is just nonsense. It's awful. So that'll do it for those. Hey, Dylan, did you see the Doomsday trailer?
Yes.
Are you excited about it?
No. That trailer was bad. It's not a good trailer. Also, what is up with Chris Evans' nose?
Yeah, that was weird.
Like, that looks so weird. Threw me off.
He's schnozzing out?
Did you not watch the trailer?
I saw the trailer, but I didn't really notice his nose.
His nose is weird looking.
People were defending it like, your nose and ears keep growing even as you age, which is true. But I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. And it feels weird like he would get work done, quote unquote, to make his nose bigger of all things.
Well, yeah, people were just showing him like a few months ago or something. And so like, he doesn't look like that. It's like, why does he look like that in the trailer? I don't know. It's really, really weird looking. He looks odd. I don't get it.
Yeah, it looks like it was smoothed out a little bit, huh?
Yeah, and like it goes farther down. Something's odd about it. Something's odd about his nose. That threw me off.
It's almost like Cavill's mustache. thing.
Yeah, maybe it is
Yeah.
something like that.
There
Yeah.
is a very funny part in the
Maybe
trailer. It looks
CGI.
like they're in the X Mansion and the Fantastic Four is there and Falcon's there with it, the vibranium shield, and like Mr. Fantastic's holding back Falcon so that way, what's her name? Not Black Widow can go first. It's like you got a dude made of rocks, that guy with a vibranium shield. And you're like, the woman with the Glock, she'll go first. That didn't make any sense.
Just send her to die.
Yeah, her nine mil will take care of the X-Men.
characters that I didn't care about permeating the thing. Where I remember Thor being there because he's narrating the last 2/3 or whatever. And I remember Chris Evans kind of showing up at the end, but I was just like, oh god, not all these characters could be in this fucking movie, right? Just like, and they made somehow Mr. Fantastic look dumber. I'm like, I thought that was impossible.
And
They said they're doing reshoots because it's so chaotic with all the characters that they're having trouble editing it together, which is seemingly a bad sign, but also kind of fun how crazy it is. So we'll see, I guess.
Did not get me excited.
They're also kicked out of IMAX because Dune has exclusivity for IMAX, so they came up with this new thing called Infinity Vision. They're like, see it in Infinity Vision.
Oh,
Are those
That's their
special
cope.
screens or?
No, there's nothing special about it. That's just their cope to be like, we didn't want IMAX, we have Infinity Vision. You guys go see it in Infinity Vision.
Are you going to see Spider-Man in
they
Infinity
can-
Vision?
It's not in Infinity Vision.
Oh,
there's only one thing in Infinity Vision.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could just like take the entire IMAX for yourself.
Yep.
Well,
Odyssey's
Turns out-
doing it right now, and Dune's doing it in December.
Infinity Vision is actually just your eyes, but you have to go Infinity Woo before the movie starts.
something like that.
Activate.
use your.
Are you going to go see
imagination.
the new Endgame cut encore? Is this news to
What's
everybody?
that?
Nobody's heard about this?
It's like, so they're re-releasing Endgame, and
Yeah,
they
but with 7
added
minutes of
stuff.
footage that
Seven?
adds there or connects it to Doomsday
Oh,
because they
boy.
forgot to set it up, in the fucking movies.
What are they going to
Because it's
retcon
been
now?
like 10 years.
I know.
But like 8, right?
I'll catch it on YouTube.
It also makes there's like a couple, what was it, phase 3 or whatever, the post Endgame Marvel movies. None of them seems like they did super well. They kind of went down the memory hole. I can't even think of the names of them, but they were out there. And
Guardians
those are, like,
3 did
pointless.
pretty decent. Doctor Strange obviously did well.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man No Way Home, but I think technically that might be the last movie in phase whatever
okay, yeah.
with Endgame.
That was kind of the multiverse phase then, a lot of that.
Yeah. But the biggest one obviously been Wolverine and Deadpool, but those really had nothing to do with the MCU or any of the storytelling there. Yeah. So I guess we could talk about these big things happening at Marvel with the Avengers. I think you guys we got into it there a little bit. So Sully, the Avengers are out. The 616 citizens have turned their back on them, and they're turning towards those that they've always hated and feared. The marvelous X-Men. I think it's Tony Daniel on that bad boy.
And
who's the
Christopher
guy that's
Yost
coming
is
back?
writing it. He's coming back.
Christopher Yost.
I, for one, enjoyed X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and the X-Men, those animated shows. And Christopher Yost had a big role in those two. So hopefully, bring some freshness and some energy and just action. Just give me X-Men in uniforms. It looks like Firestar has an X-Men variant uniform. It looks like everyone's wearing some kind of black and gold kind of with a red belt look. And I like that. Like when Jim Lee did that in the early 90s, I loved it when everyone was in uniform, even Wolverine. And now I'm looking forward to, because I want X-Men to succeed. I don't want to sit around bitching about Gale or Eve or Jed anymore. I don't, I want good X-Men comics. You do too. We want to celebrate this stuff. We want to enjoy it and buy it and talk.
Yeah, I want
about
Tony Daniel illustrating a good X-Men comic book instead of whatever Gail Simone's been doing.
Oh man, this is so
But I guess he's been doing the Jed McKay one, hasn't he?
Yeah, and I'm just I keep my hope on a very small flame so it doesn't boil over, and we'll wait and see. Yeah, but I'll give it a chance. Sure, why not?
Does it get you excited for Armageddon? Are you going to have to go get the 2 back issues so you can figure out what's happening that's going to change the Marvel Universe to such a degree that the Avengers are the bad guys and Iron Man's in jail?
I'm still waiting for them to reconcile the vampires being marginalized citizens kind of thing, and the aftermath of Blood Hunt. Come on, wrap that up.
That was funny.
I know.
What about for it's like the John Byrne Elsewind book came out and did pretty well and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
And this is in the wake of that. So like maybe there's a little bit of some awareness of 90s X-Men.
And X-Men 97 is just doing gangbusters too. Everyone's talking about that. Everyone seems really pleased about it. I'm not watching it, but it's good to see people with enthusiasm really liking like the
Sparrow
older
says
stories.
episodes 3 and 4 are magnificent, whereas episodes 1, 2, and 5, the other ones that he watched, were very good.
And
so,
but
for him, it's been a mixed
That's
bag,
of
but I haven't
season
watched
2. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
just
yeah, I mean-
obviously started coming out again.
But like you've been saying, like Perch said it, and Aaron said it, that like with Disney, and the new leadership at Marvel, things are going to be a lot more, by the book, kind of basic, going back to a more traditional recipe. And I'm all for that. Just give me some good X-Men stories. I'm such a big X-Men fan. I go way back to the early '80s with that when I was a kid.
But you realize we're not getting that yet, right? These books were in production 9 months ago, and the transition only started, within the last, week, with Whacker coming in, and maybe a month and a half before that. So it's going to take a little while for all that stuff to finally start coming out. But hopefully it gets better.
These things change at the speed of these are institutions, and they have the speed of a glacier. But glaciers move, and glaciers rip out huge valleys into the earth. So I mean, sure, it might be slow, but it's powerful, and it will have change. And I'm sure of that, and I'm looking forward to it. I would love to buy X-Men again. I can afford another book. I can afford the $5. I can do it.
But you can't afford all 18 X-Men books.
No, I wouldn't want to. I mean, geez, yeah. Just give me one.
X-Men books. So, Dylan, are these like pieces of information coming out getting you maybe more interested in maybe coming back to sample some X-Men? You're more of a DC guy, but you do taste the Marvel stuff when it's good.
I like Tony Daniel. I do like that in that article. He specifically said that he wanted to make it an action-oriented book. So those things get me excited, but we'll see if they actually deliver. I'll check out the first issue.
What do you think about the Punisher joining the Avengers?
I just feel like it doesn't really work too well with the Avengers. That doesn't get me excited. I love the Punisher, but I don't really care about him on an Avengers team. I feel like he doesn't function too well there.
Yeah, he's a loner. You know what I mean? I know you say like, oh, Spider-Man's a loner too, but Spidey is a loner. He is. I mean, he's kind of a misfit on any team. But Punisher being on a superhero team is.
Yeah, who's going to stop the Punisher from killing somebody? Next thing you know, he's trying to kill them.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
Yeah.
That will probably be the plot. It's like going to be more just that than anything else, which pros and cons, I guess. I read
a book about Punisher hunting down Captain Marvel and trying to kill her. That'd be fun.
Yeah. In the article, they said in Civil War, Captain America recruits Punisher to their side. So he's like part of the sort of Avengers for a little bit, but he immediately kills a bunch of people and he gets kicked off. And so
technically, Captain America did not want Punisher on his team and had to be talked into it, if I remember correctly, right?
Right, because Punisher saved Spidey from and
Cat's like, we can't have him on the team. That guy's a killer.
Yeah,
and then he beats the holy shit out of him. And like, Punisher doesn't fight back. It's like, this guy grew up on Cap. He respects him more than anybody in the world.
Yeah,
it wouldn't fight him.
And they already did this story. It was called Punisher versus the Marvel Universe. And it was
that twice. Or was that Deadpool?
Yeah, but no, that was Punisher kills the Marvel Universe. No, Punisher versus the Marvel Universe. It was the one by Greg Rucka, I think. Where it's the bearded Punisher. And he's getting chased down by the Avengers, and he's taking out heroes that are coming after him. It was kind of a it was very, very vicious. And they also kind of did it in Punisher Warzone. There was I think a 4-issue miniseries Warzone. I might be confusing the two. But yeah, they've kind of already done this.
What are you thinking about this, Doc? Is it getting you more excited about Marvel in this post Armageddon universe?
Not particularly. Look, I don't understand. There is no world in which the Punisher is allowed onto the Avengers. Unless it's the Dark Avengers. But the X-Men, that Maximum X-Men book, I'm actually going to buy. It looks, I like Chris Yost. I prefer him with Craig Kyle. And them being a writer duo. They do better work together. But that being said, I like Chris Yost and I like Tony Daniel, so I'm down for that. I don't think I'm gonna, but again, we have kind of like a little bit of a poison pill in there, in that the premise of the book of the X-Men kind of being the Avengers. I fucking hate that idea.
You've been bitching to me for years about how if people in the Marvel universe accept the Avengers and love them, they should accept the X-Men and love them because they're basically the same thing.
Correct. Now, that's 100% correct. There any universe which the people can love freaks that either made themselves that way intentional or by accident, can also, they would be much more forgiving of people that didn't have any say in it whatsoever, that were just born a certain way. There is no world, and that's the thing you can't address in the comics, or else it breaks the suspension of disbelief. Because we're able to suspend our disbelief in believing there's a world where people love the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and the Avengers and also hate the X-Men, as long as you don't talk about the fact that they love, that you can't talk about those two things simultaneously, or else it breaks the suspension of disbelief. But that being said, I think that the X-Men being the Avengers and being, the A team for the universe, it's coming out of the blue, especially in a post-Krakoa era.
Well, apparently whatever the Avengers do in Armageddon is so bad that they're like, screw it, we're going with those guys.
Yeah, I mean, in which case now you're not having, the people love them, they just hate the X-Men less.
Yeah. I think it sucks that they're going to make Tony Stark go through it again. Like, they just presented him as such a horrible person for so long. Now he's going to go to prison. I'm assuming it's because he murdered a bunch of people or something on accident. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, probably. But yeah. I mean, it's gonna be nonsensical as well. But I already saw this once. It was when they stuck Xavier in prison because he became Onslaught when he didn't have any say in the matter. And they still stuck him in prison. Now then, they also stuck him in prison when he ran a mutant supremacist drug dealing ethno state. But I would say that one was justified.
So do you like the team? You got Wolverine, Storm, Bishop, Colossus, Betsy Braddock.
Like you got Gambit. Yeah, but I think it's Betsy Braddock not Captain as not Captain Britain.
But she's got Excalibur or whatever that sword
she
is.
She has a psionic sword that is not the samurai sword.
Right.
She has yes, but the original, her old pre-Siege Perilous She had a sword as well, and
Okay.
it looked like that. It wasn't until after the Siege Perilous that she started having the fucking katana.
Right. I was thinking, like, since she's Captain Britain.
No, I think it's because she's white again. That's it. No,
Because
I'm not even
Betsy is
joking.
Captain Britain, so it's like, doesn't she get Excalibur with that?
She was Captain Britain. We don't know if she still is.
Well, it's a mantle now, Doc. She's got to share the power. Jamie and Brian have to share the power with their little sister.
But regardless, I think that she's going to be not Captain Britain. I think she's back to White Lady Psylocke, but not Captain Britain Psylocke. In which case, I'm down with it. Gambit without Rogue is a little interesting, although the way he's moving, like the way he doesn't have cards in his hand, but he does still have that energy thing. So I'm wondering if he somehow got parts of Rogue's powers or merged with Rogue in some way.
That's Justice. That's Vance Astrovic.
How are you talking about?
The guy that looks like Gambit
on
the cover?
That's Justice?
Yeah.
Wearing just a generic
It looks like I had to look it up. I mean, because it's like even some things. I've been reading funny books for so long. Continuity's a big.
That's what it says in the article. It says Justice. Yeah. I assume that was Gambit.
So I was like, who's Justice?
Oh, I thought that was Gambit too.
That's exactly. And it's like that's Vance Astrovic because it was.
I didn't look at the.
Yeah.
I didn't read the homework.
Right. But I mean, that doesn't. It looks like Betsy, and especially because I was looking at the hilt of the sword.
I think it is Betsy. I think she's Psylocke again.
Okay.
And which I very much prefer. I prefer this it looks like the very late 80s, early 90s version of Colossus, where he's basically just wearing a Speedo and gauntlets. A Speedo, boots, and gauntlets.
Why wouldn't you?
The Justice thing, considering that it looks exactly like Gambit, is really confusing.
His hand is lit up instead of a card.
Right.
Yeah. And that's why I assumed it was Gambit, and there was something that happened between him and Rogue that made his powers, like he could project energy now and not just charge things. Obviously, we have Firestar here, and I think, Sully, you mentioned it earlier.
Yes.
If they make Sadie Sink into
Angelica Jones, there you go.
That would make sense, and it would also be good, some good corporate scissoring. I like Bishop as being jacked again.
Yeah.
So I'm great with that. Although I'm not sure I like the dread mullet being back. But still.
There's nothing wrong with the dread mullet.
Yeah. I've been down with Storm being leader of the X-Men for a very long time, so I have no problems with that.
I don't like that costume on Storm.
The current Storm kind of sucks. They kind of ruined her, but whatever.
Yeah, they've kind of broken Storm, and maybe she goes back to being normal Storm. But this is the costume she wore in her shittiest incarnation, which is basically the entire last 12 years.
Her last solo series wasn't all that bad.
It was fucking terrible, dude. Don't even start. Everything of her last, every solo series Storm has ever had has been fucking terrible. And because she's only good as a member of the X-Men. But then having Bobby Drake actually there and not looking like a mincing somebody that would need a fire extinguisher to take care of him actually is kind of dope. I kind of like this. Maybe you're going to get a Bobby again that doesn't just show up and scream, "I'm gay" at the readers and leave.
That's mostly been what he's been about for a while.
For the
But you got a
last
little
10
bit of hope in you, Doc. I can feel like there's like a
Ooh.
glint in your eye. You're feeling it.
I do. I have a measure of hope. You got a good artist that wants to do action, even though what the book he's been on right now that is also X-Men, he hasn't been allowed to do any action. You have not Gail Simone. You have somebody that has a better track record than anything Jed McKay has ever done in his entire career. And you have an X team that is made up of characters people generally like. You're going to have a Betsy that's not being shoehorned into a Captain Britain role. It's at least as the only thing that's just weird there is having Justice as a mutant.
I'm assuming
fuck
that
did
Gail
that
Simone's X-Men book is still going on, and maybe Wolverine's just not there, but Nightcrawler will still be with that team. And,
What's fun?
Gambit and Rogue.
Yeah, like all the characters I don't give a shit about, Gail can keep having. I mean, I like Nightcrawler. I like a lot of these
I
other.
don't like Nightcrawler.
I like Nightcrawler. I like Gambit. I like Rogue.
I like
but
Bishop.
if I'm gonna have to deal with her stink, keep her as far fucking away from this as I can deal with.
I think one of Wolverine's newer superpowers, maybe a secondary mutation, was he can be everywhere at once. Like, so you can literally have him in every single Marvel book.
He needs to be on every team.
Month. He needs to be in everywhere. It's just like 1991 all over again, man.
He's on Alpha Flight, Avengers, X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, a Wolverine solo book, probably a team-up book with Deadpool, and there's probably another team we can stick him on. In the meantime.
Gail Simone,
New Avengers. He's going to be on the New Avengers.
Gail Simone is like an ancient meta god that you have to sacrifice characters to every year.
It's like, we need to keep the Gale satiated. Mm-hmm. Here is a character that was once beloved by the fandom.
Why do you think she's so fat?
No idea.
She's like characters.
That. But I can't wait for this, Dylan, in 6 months when Doc is like, this is the worst fucking X-Men of all time.
Hey, you know what? There's the chance that it falls flat on its face. This actually, it gives me hope. I got a solid writer, a solid artist, a pretty good team, of characters. I don't like necessarily the premise of them being the Avengers. Just be the fucking X-Men. But for the most part, I don't hate it. I don't hate it right out of the bag. Like right from the jump.
That's a start.
Exactly.
So let's hear for the peoples. Sandal says, shout out to the channel sponsor on Holy Nightmare and their partnership with Home Depot. I just upgraded my pledge to include the peel and stick wallpaper made of only lyrics variants. 31 hours left. Oh, very cool. Well, thank you so much for supporting Drew and the team. And obviously there's 31 hours left. So less than 48 hours, and they did some great stuff there. And I know that Drew and the team there with Aurelio and Aaron put a lot of work into it. So hopefully you love all that stuff in there. And he got some really cool covers. And then he says, 1 plus for Christopher Yost. In hindsight, Earth's Mightiest Heroes does have the benefit of being the only good Avengers property in the 21st century.
Mm-hmm. Totally agree. It was fun.
You didn't like the Avengers movies?
I love the Avengers movies, but I mean that cartoon was really fun. It was great design.
It's the only good Avengers in the 21st century. I assume that would include Avengers 2, Doomsday, and not Doomsday, Endgame, and
Endgame.
Okay, I'll agree with the 1 plus for Yost. I did in there. I did like the Avengers movies 1, 2, and Endgame, and
well,
the other one.
Yost has done. Now, granted, a lot of it was with Craig Kyle. Wrong Kyle. R.I.P. But they did New X-Men, which was actually pretty good about younger mutants that I didn't fucking hate. They weren't, Eye Boy and Shark Girl. Then he did they did that X-Force book, the one with Clayton Crane art, that was really good. Then he's done Earth's Mightiest Heroes. He did
X-Men Evolution.
Yeah. Which wasn't bad.
Wasn't bad. I like that. I like that take on it. That's where I'm like, I wish they could like do a huge Siege Perilous, reset the X-Men universe, and just start like there at the school. Everyone's at some kind of typical age. You got like school uniforms. You got Professor X. You got the danger room, and you got teenagers learning how to cope with the changes in their bodies and growing up and romance and fighting bad guys.
So, Pear, did you ever watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes? Was that a good cartoon?
I didn't see that one. No.
I haven't seen it either.
The thing I remember of the Avengers that I like the most, it's like a Super Nintendo video game, I think. Or just a beat 'em up,
Like a side-scroller beat 'em up game?
Yeah.
I don't think I ever played that one. What do you think, Dylan? Do you recommend I watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes with the boys?
It's great. Yeah, they do really good with Secret Invasion. They do good with Kang. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in that. It's really good.
All right. And then he says, be sure to subscribe to Think Critical All. Tip, you can save money on the dock tier by living under Doc's porch. By the way, Aaron, you would have gotten my Cronenberg joke.
Yeah, if you just hide under my porch, then you can just hear me screaming into a microphone from here. But you have to do yard work.
Galichioki, this is why I can't with Marvel. Everything is a skid suit. MJ is Venom. Eddie is Carnage. The X-Men are now the Avengers. Street tier heroes in the Avengers too. Is that what's throwing you off, Renie? Is that why you can't get into Marvel today? Is it all the swapping roles and stuff? Oh, she wasn't paying attention.
Sorry, what?
Council 7.
Is that what's keeping you from supporting Marvel these days? That they keep swapping all the roles for the characters and the teams?
That's part of it. I just never really got into superhero comics, which is why I don't have much to say when that's the topic. But yeah, indie comics and manga is more my thing. I think the just constantly swapping things around, I feel like it waters down what the original character is. I think if you make a character to have one goal and one path, then that's the message. Like, a character is built around a message and a story, and things get switched around so much. I understand why they do it. It's an attempt to keep the story exciting, but to me it's confusing. But I'm sure a lot of people clearly enjoy that, I guess, but it's not really inviting for a new reader. Yeah, that didn't grow up with it. I didn't grow up with it, right? So it's hard.
I understand that, because I see there's a very fine line for me. You can do it every so often, like when Captain America gave up the mantle and became Nomad, and then John Walker became Captain America, and then Steve's out wandering, kind of being a nomadic hero, and then he has to come back and take the mantle back. Cool, they do, but and then Batman gets his back broken and Azrael becomes Batman for a period of time, and sometimes you can use that as a way to remind the reader as to what makes that character so unique and works so well, and a way to like kind of renew interest in Steve, in a character that might feel a little stale because they've been there so long. But Marvel has decided they let Jason Aaron do it with Thor, and ever since then, every hero, their name is a mantle, their costume is interchangeable, it's a skin, It's a video game skin. You could play musical costumes, musical titles. There's nothing unique about, like, if you do it too much, you ruin the uniqueness. Whereas if you do it very, very sparingly, you can reinforce the uniqueness. But once you do it too much, and I can't, I can't necessarily put my finger on where that line is. But
it's like it's Batman Nightfall, where Azrael takes over the Batman mantle. But the reason they did it, Dylan, wasn't to show that anyone could be Batman. It was to show that literally only Bruce Wayne could be Batman, that anybody else that had that technology and that mission would go so far over the line and just start murdering everybody.
Yeah, it highlights the difference. Even when Jean-Paul beats the tar out of Bane, you see, even though he's able to do it, Bruce couldn't. That he's not meant for that job.
Yeah, he wasn't worthy of being Batman. So he was meant to elevate Bruce Wayne and spotlight him and showcase him in a different angle. But now they just go like, yeah, everybody could be Spider-Man. Anybody could.
Yeah, everybody could be Spider-Man. Everybody could be a Hulk. Everybody could be a Lantern. Everybody could be a super person. I mean, fuck, they gave Lois Superman's powers because why the fuck not?
Everybody can
have a symbiote.
Yep.
That's something else.
Next will be everyone gets an Iron Man armor.
Maybe the question to ask it, I think you brought up a really good point. Does this change reinforce the character and enrich the character as it was originally intended? Or are you just doing it to change things up, to be for the sake of being exciting? It's like putting something in your story just for shock value versus putting something in your story because it moves the plot or develops the characters, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, the writers, it is weird to if you think of it like it's got to be 100-year story of content, and you're like, okay, we did all the good stuff. It's like at some point you're just jumping a shark. It reminds me of like a TV show that goes on too long. And I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of a hard problem to solve what they can even do.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It's like, again, like a TV show. If you like watch the beginning and you kind of forget about the show for like a few years, and then you watch it again and you're like, what the hell happened in the meantime? That they said that happened with Walking Dead recently. They had like Negan who killed Glenn or whatever. He's like now like almost dating Glenn's wife.
Yes.
And it's like
spin-off show.
It took like 6 years for that to happen, but it's like weird.
What is happening? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Breathe X7. They need to reverse that retcon made to Bishop's ethnicity, race, and change him from Aboriginal back to being Black African American. I agree.
Yeah.
Do nothing for the kid.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, let's be honest, there's not exactly a large Aboriginal heritage in the US. And he grew up in New York. It's unlikely that, Gateway would be his great-great-grandfather or some shit. And as far as I'm aware, that he's the only Aboriginal mutant other than Manifold, who's his grandson. Which would make Manifold then moves to New York and ends up being the father of Bishop or the grandfather of Bishop. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah, he should be Black.
Well, I think that Bishop being a time traveler should be his own grandpa, like in that song, "I'm My Own Grandpa."
Sandal says this might have come up earlier, but did you guys look at Irene's Fiendish comic? This is top tier layouts, penciling, colors, inks. This slaps. Renie, are you holding back on us? Have you made a great comic book and forgot to share it with us?
I mean, I think my comic is pretty great. Thank you for the shout out, Sandals. Yes.
And it's live right now. Still, Fiendish 3 is on Kickstarter.
Yes, Chapter 3 is live right now, but I don't want to trample over the discussion, and I'm not just here for self-promotion, but yes.
Well, the discussion's over. We're getting into the recommending portion of the stream here.
Cool. Okay.
So promote
yeah,
away is what I'm saying.
All right. I grabbed chapter 2.5 because I was actually going to because we share comics at the end of the show. I was going to give a shout out to my my side story artists, but I have one of the chapters with me. The other books are in a different room. But here is one of the volumes of Fiendish. This one is a floppy, but most of the main chapters, they're perfect bound. They're like trades. That's why it takes me a whole year to draw it. But Fiendish is my fantasy mystery comic. This is my my attempt to I wanted to make a comic that I would want to read, something that was high investment, high fantasy. I built a constructed language for it. I have my own species, my own magic system. I went all out with the world building, and the story is like a mystery demon hunt. The characters are trying to uncover the truth behind these horrible demons that destroyed Casimir, my main character's hometown, and he's like a gruff, angry hunter, and trying to just make his way through the world and deal with people. So it's a long form epic. I have everything planned out. It's my main focus, and this cover is by me. I'm both the writer and the interior artist. So if you like how this looks, that's the whole book. That's how it looks. So check it out. Chapter 3 is currently live on both Kickstarter and Indiegogo. And since my internet connection is no longer horrific, I can show some new pages. And I'll pull those up right now. So I was showing earlier, this is a spread that I just finished. This is the last double page spread of chapter 3. This is the group setting out from a shaman's hermitage called Thalfren. It's after like one of the major demon fights in the middle of chapter 3. And here is the boob over. In case you all missed that, that's Ragna, my sexy magic girl. That's kind of Casimir's on and off flame. They've got a fun dynamic, a lot of poking back and forth, flirting, and also insults is fun. And here's another couple of pages. I'm probably, I'd say 4/5 of the way through the ink, so I'm hoping to be done with the book and go to print by the end of the year. That's my plan for it. And here are a couple more pages. Here you go. I'd spent a lot of time on the art. It's important to me that it looks good, since I want this to be a book that you can read over and over again and really sink into the world and enjoy the details. So there you go. Original art pages, these pages are available on the Indiegogo. Not on the Kickstarter, but they are available on the Indiegogo. I have like 4 different price tiers for the original art. So if you back one of those, when the book is done and before we start shipping everything, you'll get to pick an original art page. So go check it out. Also, the comic has a website, fiendishcomic.com, where, whoops, just fell over. Anyways, there's a world map, there's character profiles, there's free previews. So go to fiendishcomic.com and check that out. Everything is on there. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.
Very, very cool. Do you have anything else you want to recommend? You got a book you're reading this week that's pretty decent?
Yes. So, I went and grabbed this because the interior artist, Michael Rushbrook, he is my plan right now is he's going to be drawing at least several of my 0.5 chapters, which are like the bonus chapters for Fiendish. And he has his own project, Phantoms. And here are a couple of copies. This is a Heroes Con exclusive that I picked up last month. Phantoms is a post-apocalyptic story set in Japan after a supernatural cataclysm, sort of, and the main character is fighting phantoms and demons. It's very mystery based, a lot of demons and monsters, which is right down my alley, of course. And Michael is a great artist, great guy, very hardworking, so I wanted to shout out his work. And you can follow him at, what's his current handle? He's at Rushbrook Draws on Twitter and I think Instagram as well. So I highly recommend this. I love promoting indie comic artists that do good work. So shout out to Michael.
Very, very cool. Thank you so much. Dylan, do you have anything you want to recommend this week, brother?
Yeah, there was a couple good comics this week. Absolute Superman number 21, action packed, pretty good. Enjoyed it. Superman number 40 concludes the Superboy Prime arc and was really good. Every issue of the series has been great. And then the Peril of the Brutal Dark and Ezra Kane mystery number 6, which was the finale of this arc. And this book will be on hiatus until next year, but it's really good. Highly recommend.
Well, very nice. You got any big streams or videos people should be looking out for?
Yeah, I started playing the Spider-Man 2 finally this week, so that's up if you want to check that out.
Is that the one with Miles Morales?
Yes.
Oh, that's a while ago.
What system is that for?
I'm playing it on PC, but it's on PlayStation and PC.
Okay, nice.
Very nice. Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Wait, the Fiendish books are real? You mean I don't have to wait 6 years for it? What a novel concept. Congrats on your success, Renie.
Yes, they are real.
There's some sarcasm
actually draw and print my books. I do actually ship out my books. Yeah, I already take longer than I want to, but yes, you can get the books right now on the store. They exist.
Very, very cool. We got HH the fam over to Sigma Comics. Greetings from Comic-Con San Diego. Keep it tuned to the very best in comics. Support the channel and the creators that make up the Aficionados family. Absolutely. Hope you're having a good time at San Diego. It sounds like Aaron is inconsolable. He has discovered that there is a typo of some sort in Kneel Before Doomface.
No, I saw in chat. That sucks.
So,
Every
HH,
book
why don't you
one.
buy Aaron a beer for us and see if he can console himself over that? I don't know.
That always happens. Like, no matter how many copy editors and proofreaders you have, it's just every single book, there's just going to be one typo that you miss. So it's okay, Aaron. It's not just you. It just happens.
Yeah, that's disappointing, but you'll be all right, brother. There'll be the special edition without the typo available next year.
Maybe we can petition Webster's to change the official spelling to what Aaron's typo is.
There you go.
Perhaps they could make a
Perfect.
some type of play for that. All right, Perrin, what's going on with you, buddy? You got any comic book pages or things that you need people to know about right now?
Yeah, I got. I'll share a screen real fast, actually. So, is this going to pop up? You can throw that one up, and I'll show you guys. Okay, so this is and this is going to print pretty small. So it's like if I can zoom out, I don't know, but. This is the art for Panopticon. I got like 3 sample pages here. I can kind of show you guys, but yeah, so Panopticon, it's 8 mini comics read in any order. It's going to release in September, and it's going to have extremely affordable free shipping tiers. And so definitely an opportunity for new readers. And I have the link in the private chat. I think Wes can post it one more time. Please do sign up. Give me your email. Right now, there's 40 signups, so the more the merrier, as many as possible. Even if you're on my actual, I have another mailing list, I still recommend signing up for the Kickstarter because it just helps me kind of like gauge and get pumped and get hype going and everything. And yeah, so it's like, yeah, it's black and white zine style, drawn traditionally. I'll also be selling some of the original art for it. And then it's using the Zipatone kind of story stuff. And then I have one book to share real fast. What I read this week. Can you throw me up, Wes, real fast? I have this like kind of random version of the Odyssey. It's like Spark Notesy. It's like, it's thick, but this is the font. So like you can read it in one night. I read it in 2 nights, but it includes pretty much everything. I think they left out just a little bit. I think the revenge against when Agamemnon gets murdered by his wife and then his son avenges his wife. That's a whole part of the Odyssey that's like doesn't have to do with Odysseus. And they say that's like sort of it's there functionally as this is what could have happened to Odysseus if he didn't play it right. and so they include that, but that's not included in like any of the adaptations, and it's not in this book. But this book was a lot of fun to read. I have a teacher friend who teaches high school, and he loaned it to me. I guess it's one of the books they read in high school, which is funny because they say the Odyssey, and a lot of people have a history with it because it's required reading in some high schools in certain eras, but it is a little bit of a sign where we're at, where, now in public schools, instead of reading the poem or whatever, or various translations, it's an illustrated Spark Notes edition with big font, and, it still includes everything. It's still a lot of fun, but yeah, that's about it.
Well, very, very cool. And congratulations. How have I done this? Okay. There
we are.
There it is. I totally screwed that up. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, buddy. And good luck on the campaign. I'm sure it's going to do very, very well. And congratulations on all the hard work.
Thank you.
All right, Sully. You got any funny books that you want to recommend to people this week?
I got 2 brand new funny books this week that I got from my local comic book shop. I'm a Wednesday warrior, and I like to go to my comic book shop once a week and lavish them with my funds and money. I got Green Lantern 37 by Jeremy Adams. It's still a good book. I'm a Kyle Rayner fan, so I don't mind this one bit. There's like 2 pages of Hal Jordan action, but I can't wait to see Jeremy Adams in 2 weeks when I go to Fan Expo Boston, because he's got this reuniting of Jenny Lynn Hayden, the daughter of Alan Scott, the Golden Age Green Lantern, and Kyle Rayner. And he actually says, "What did I do to screw this up?" Dude, Jenny cheated on Kyle. He did nothing wrong. He was out in space doing his job, patrolling his route, and she cheated on him in his own apartment. Thank you, Ron Mars, for that. But really, yeah, I can't wait to see Jeremy and thank him. This is a fun issue. It's pretty. It's a modern book, so it brings in an internet troll.
It's a PSA.
Who's a real troll. It's really fun, and I really like this book. And I got Superman number 40 by Joshua Williamson. I love how inventive this is, especially the word balloon villain that Manchester Black makes to fight Superboy Prime. This is my kind of comic book because it's all about like continuity and about like the reboots and the confusion it makes all further down the line. And there's a really good moment in here where Clark, Superboy Prime, is like coming to terms with like, yes, I had all this stuff taken away from me, but I'm still like, I grew up in a world without Superman. You were so blessed and grateful to have had a Superman in your life. And he's right, because Superman is the aspirational hero. And my big pick of the week, though, I got this off the shelf. It was staring right at me. This is the complete Battlestar Galactica from 1979, Marvel Comics. I got for $36.75, 23 issues, all in decent condition. So there's about $1.60 an issue. The thing is, I was buying this off the spinner rack when I was a little kid with pocket change. This is a time machine. There's a lot of Walt Simonson art in here, inked by Klaus Janson. I love this. The stories aren't that great. You know what? So what? This is like cheesy, popcorny kind of stuff. But I've been looking forward to getting something like this, a complete run of Battlestar Galactica. They also had all 20 issues of Shogun Warriors. And it was a little pricey though. So if I can talk them down over time, I'll pick that one up too. But this was great as a lifelong comics fan, especially a Bronze Age baby and a big Battlestar fan. I'm so happy to have got this. This is like nothing but BB rifle ads and Hostess fruit pie ads and it's kind of stupid sci-fi with decent art. Thank you so much, everyone out there in TV land. Thank you, Wes. And good to have you back, brother. And it's good to see you.
Did you call it a Hostess fruit patty instead of a fruit pie?
Hostess fruit pie ad. I might have mumbled.
I think you said patty. I was like,
patty. What are you reading the AI transcript already?
You a weirdo.
A fruit patty.
Sandal says, "Internet troll. I finally got my representation." Yes, you did.
There you go. Thank you. Thank Jeremy Adams, Space Kicker on Twitter.
I don't think he's on Twitter anymore. That might have been what that book was about. To be honest. All right, Doc. Last but not least, you got anything you want to tell people's about?
Well, I'm a little perplexed by Sully. I could just like scan you some 1980s like comic book ads if that's what's getting you to buy a book.
No, I mean
we could just do an entire. We'll just do an entire book of nothing but 70s and 80s ads from inside comic books.
Well, it's weird because
Sully will pay a fucking fortune for that shit.
Well, I mean, after 1981, all the ads are all video game focused. So this is like right before that. So it's just like,
so I'm going to recommend that folks check out they can go check out Doc Unfiltered, which will be up tomorrow, and then on Monday, if they don't want to be a Patreon or channel member backer, they can wait until they get the edited free version of our review of Spider-Man Long Way Home number 2.
Oh yeah.
It's Spider-Man Revenge. I'll put it that way. But I did not go to a comic shop. I haven't been to a comic shop in like 2 weeks. But in fairness, it's because I don't want to deal with the traffic, and they knocked out a bridge here, so the entire fucking freeway is like diverted through my goddamn neighborhood, and I just don't drive unless I absolutely have to. I'm not even leaving the house unless I have to. But so instead, I will recommend some back issues, and we will go with, I love these 25th anniversary, the picture frame covers that they did for all these books. And I mean, that's an especially dope Thor 373. I believe this was part of Fall of the Mutants, I believe, but I'm not entirely certain. I can't quite remember. And then, since we were talking about Wolverine earlier a little bit, I really love this.
And Mark Miller so good.
Yeah.
Totally.
Mark Miller gets he had 2 runs on Wolverine, and Old Man Logan gets all of the credit. But honestly, I think Enemy of the State is so fucking good because it actually happens in current continuity and not in like some possible future continuity. So I love this book. I love this miniseries because it was 12 issues. It was 6 issues of Enemy of the State and then 6 issues of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it kind of picks up a lot of the ideas that some of Claremont had left as abandoned plot ideas. And there was like a whole thread on these way back in the day. And it was where Wolverine dies and gets resurrected as an agent of the Hand. And that's kind of the premise here. He's the enemy of the state. So then, since we were talking about Chris Yost earlier and Maximum X-Men, I do recommend you guys go back and check out this run of X-Force that he did with he did it with Craig Kyle, but also the Clayton Crane art. So freaking good. And it's one of the few times that I don't hate Laura. In fact, actually, I think everything that Chris Yost has ever done with Laura is actually the only good stuff done with Laura in her entire existence. Everything else is fucking garbage. Then, I was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. One of my favorite periods of X Factor, and it was the Willis Portacio era. I really, really like it. And it's kind of hinting at what will eventually become Cable, because this is Apocalypse infecting baby Nathan with the techno-organic virus and the Ascani and everything. And it's got this dope Willis Portacio art. So all these were so fucking good. And then, since we did a review of a Spider-Man and Hulk, and technically Punisher, even though it was mostly just Punisher. I'm going to go and give you something that's actually Spider-Man versus the Hulk. That's actually good. This cover is one of my favorite ASM covers of all time. And honestly, McFarlane Hulk is almost as beloved to me as McFarlane Spidey. But
he has a great Hulk.
He does. He really, really does. But he really only does Joe Fixit. I don't necessarily like him on Green Hulk.
Well, very nice. That will do it for the Comics Aficionados today. Thank you very much to everybody for joining us. Thanks to the panel members. It's been a rough show, but I appreciate all that. And we will see you all next weekend with Aaron and Toad to talk about San Diego Comic-Con next Saturday. So I think I'm done. I'm leaving.
Awesome.